All right, we're back on a Wednesday evening. We got many awesome friends. We're going to try and keep this going without any interruptions, but that's going to be impossible because I'm still going across the airwaves. I'm not even plugged in.
Why did you come in so aggressive?
What?
Because he's really pissed off. Everything on his end is broken. It's not working right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like trying to get everything in at once, so in case I get cut out, and then
Project Reboot is just Shags having to reboot his computer multiple times during the
stream. During the stream, before, during, after.
That's what it feels like.
We're on 6 right now since 10 minutes ago.
Is it weird that he's not on camera as the host? Shouldn't
That's
the host
what I
be
said.
on camera?
It is weird.
Okay, I'll listen. You know,
right until he glitches out.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. Get your screenshots ready, boys and girls.
This stream is brought to you by Black Rifle Cup. No, it's not. It's I really like that. I'm drinking it right now. Anyways, welcome back, guys. We're all here. We have wonderful people with us today. Garrett, you're with us again.
Thank
How
you.
are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. We're back from the Orlando meetup. Very tired. Very tired.
Yeah.
That's it. You're gonna do a late night stream.
Oh yeah. After
what was the highlight of Orlando?
The what?
What was the highlight of Orlando for you?
Probably meetup. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was crazy. We had like 700 people sign up.
Wow.
I don't know if they all showed up, but it was packed as fuck. And I don't think I saw Ryan or Drinker, and I know they were both there. I think I got too drunk before they even showed up. It was good. And then after, when we basically closed down the party, like everybody from the meetup had left. I looked around. There's like, it was just me, X-Ray, Kara, and her husband, and I think Mike Harlow. And we're all smashed except for Kara's husband.
Mm-hmm.
And we're out in front of the bar, and I'm just, through like 3 different layers of people just overlapping each other. And I look, we're all having a conversation. I look past, and there's like a posse of police officers just hanging out. And I'm like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, what's happening here? I don't know.
They're just waiting for someone to get in the car and drive away.
Yeah, they're waiting for somebody to drive home is what they're doing.
Yeah, we had to get out of there.
That's when you need Eric K to coordinate all the travel.
Yeah. And then I walked the streets just completely smashed because I had to get a burrito, which is like a necessity
now.
Yes.
And then 2 guys jumped out from behind a building with a rope and said, "This is MAGA country."
And I would have believed it too because it's Florida.
That was Florida. Fuck yeah, it was. It is MAGA.
Okay, but you can only hang me a quarter.
Hey, you gotta let me go. Come on.
Yeah.
Only a quarter inch off the ground.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I wish I could have joined. I wanted to, but it was just a lot. It's expensive, man. Orlando's. I mean, that's not a cheap trip.
Dude, the drinks, just the Jack and Coke, like the most basic. You pour in 2 shit things together. You're not working. Okay, $18.
Oh my God!
And
$18 motherfucking dollars. What?
And
the
that's
hell?
not even good bourbon.
No,
That's the worst bourbon.
Vegas isn't that fucking expensive. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah.
Did Mickey touch Garrett? I don't know, because I did wake up the next day with $100 bill in my pocket.
Those are the best
I thought they were. I thought they were receipts, so I was like getting all my receipts together, because I try to be tax, trying to do my stuff. So then I took
what I did last
receipts,
night.
$100 bill in there.
Oh,
I don't know where
you need me to call your cab. Oh,
someone had a good time.
Apparently,
at least they tipped you on the way out.
Oh, it's getting late, boy. I got work in the morning. Oh, I'm Mickey.
Speaking of, we have
Toontown.
Matt Margan with us tonight. Matt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent. Did not go to Orlando because I do not live there, nor does the Brahma estate have a vacation home there. So I had no reason to go. But no, doing good. Launched the new channel, Matt's new channel. We're 4 episodes into Matapap, where we pause every paragraph because we read a story from history about cool people like Count Dante, Hugh Glass, the real Hugh Glass story, not that bullshit they had in that movie. That was an amazing movie, but it was a bullshit story. He had no son. And Bob Lilly, who had a girl jerk off a dolphin. On all those are there on the channel.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
That's all real stories.
that's a real story.
Hard hitting.
Every Tuesday, 9:15 p.m. Central.
Nice. I wouldn't know because I haven't gotten an invite yet. I just happened to see it 12 hours later on Twitter. Thanks. Anyways,
Well, I hope you enjoyed the replay.
of course,
Yeah. Which one was your favorite?
all of them.
You're all
How
the
dare you,
best.
Leslie
Every
Headland
one.
me.
All great.
Don't
My
you
favorite part is
Leslie
at the
Headland
end.
me. I do have an awesome outro.
Oh my god! That is
You know what
great.
movie I want to talk about and cover eventually is I just watched it. Maybe you've seen it, Matt, or others here. It's called Good Night, Mommy. It's a it's not what it sounds like.
No,
It is.
Or
I'm
found
not.
it on this website.
It's a.
Understep Club.
I wouldn't call it a
What?
horror movie. It's. I guess you would consider it horror. The version I saw. So there's 2. There's
Horror?
the original, and no horror. Sorry.
I got you. I'm from Texas. Horror.
Yeah, it's a horror.
It's a German film. They remade it.
Okay, you're not getting any better.
Fuck. It's really good. It's about 2 boys. Their mom has surgery on like her face. She comes back. She's acting all strange, and the kids think that she's not really the mom.
But she's been replaced.
Like she's been replaced or something.
Changeling.
Yeah, it's really good. It kind of takes an interesting twist.
And
I
there he
told you not to be
is.
on camera.
Hey, you almost made it 10
Thanks.
minutes.
Yep, he did. You know what? That's probably longer than he made it in the background. So I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah,
There he is.
this has got Naomi Watts in it, the American version, I guess.
Oh, does it? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard about the American version, but the German version is insanely unsettling. It is like there's very like long moments of like just no talking. It's just like the kids interacting or the mom doing something. It's really, really weird.
So the German movie called Good Night, Mommy is weird.
Yes.
Shocking.
Very, very much.
Who would have thought?
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
No one would have ever saw that coming.
no.
I did watch a great movie. Gary, you may be interested in this one. It's called Walled Warriors Within, I think.
Hell yeah, boy.
It legit, when it starts, you're like, oh, man, this is gonna be
Dude.
goofy as hell. But that movie, girlfriend in tears.
Hell yeah.
During
Z
this
Snap.
movie.
That's so good. That movie's so freaking good.
It's really fucking good. And every time I'm like, oh great, that's the love interest. That's who. No, it's all about bros.
Dude, it's about broing
about
out and
bros.
fighting people. It's
Hell yeah.
fucking awesome.
What is
It's
it called?
like it's Twilight of the Warriors : The Walled City.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, I've
close.
heard of that one.
Yeah,
had one of
dude.
those.
It's like think of like a classic Jackie Chan movie or just a classic like 80s kung fu movie from China, like Hong Kong action fight. It's great. There's like a dude with chi powers
Yeah.
and he fucking like can completely block anything with his chi power. Dude, it's so good. It's
They
freaking
never
awesome.
explain it. Every
They
time I'm
don't.
like, hold
They
on, how
don't
does he have
ever
this
explain it.
power?
He just has it,
It's
and
his
he's
chi.
insane.
It's chi. You don't need to explain chi.
And there's
Everybody knows
like
what chi is.
gangs and stuff, and it like you follow this this kind of street rat guy that's growing up on the streets, and then he makes some gangster mad, and then he has to run into this walled city, which is an actual place in the 80s in Hong Kong, where it was just basically shanty towns built on top of shanty towns. just super condensed into this one district. But they base it off of that, and it's all kung fu and awesome. And there's actually a lot of heart. There's a lot of heart.
There
in the
is.
movie.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah.
Even if you took away all the action, the story beats and just the narrative, it's good. It's solid.
Yeah. I try to tell people that too. Like, dude, go watch that movie. You have to rent it, I think. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. But...
No, I think it's on Prime.
Is it? Oh, dude, it's so good.
Well, there actually is some more fairly interesting movie news. I guess it's TV news. Garrett, you had shared this and were intrigued. I don't know. I'm a little bit more apprehensive of this, but I will. Let's.
Do you want me to share it?
Yes, it is on Prime Video, by the way. I guess
John Lithgow is in final talks to star as Dumbledore in Harry Potter TV series. I'm not. I mean, John Lithgow is great. He's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
But what was his name? Michael Gambon, who did him in the movies, did him, I think, perfect.
No.
I think he was. So here's what I mean. Like I don't know if you would say perfect, but jumping to someone like John Lithgow, who I haven't heard with like a British accent, I don't know how well it translates. I'm going to be too used to this.
I got Michael Gambon out my brain. I don't like those movies. The older I get and the more I watch those movies, the more I hate them because they fuck up the book so horrendously bad, and they fuck up core characters like Ron specifically, which is a fan favorite character and my favorite character. They fuck him up so horrendously, and Dumbledore. Honestly, some of the scenes we all know the meme of like he asked
the Goblet
Harry.
of Fire.
Yeah, like
the Goblet of Fire.
Did you put your name in the goblet? And he's like, did you put your name in the goblet? Like, dude.
That
it wasn't
never
very good.
Dumbledore. Yeah, no, I literally that was the last one I went and saw in theaters because I was like, Dumbledore never gets angry. Like Peeves is completely missing from those movies. Like there's so much shit that they fucked up in those movies. I hate those fucking movies. I can't. It's like you said. The older I get, the more I think about it. Especially when I've got like some like additions to some of the books that I've been going back through. I'm like, I hate those movies even more. I think I saw the fourth one was the last one I saw in theaters, and I think I saw like when they were on streaming somewhere. I tried to binge them one afternoon. I think I fell asleep.
Order of the Phoenix. Ron says literally 3 words in the movie. Like he has fucking no presence in that movie. But anyways, so like those movies, I'm already gone and done with. With this, I love John Lithgow. I think everything he's been in, he's been fantastic. Like he's great as a villain. He's great as a good guy. He's really great.
Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock from the Sun. Yeah, come on.
Great comedy.
My only thing is like he's not British, so yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he could do a British accent. Like, come on,
everybody can.
It's John Lithgow. He could do a brilliant one. I'm sure. It's just like I don't know. I'm like with so many options.
They're trying to stick to tradition. I mean, Lithgow's 79, 80 years old, so by season 3 he'll have died and they'll have to recast.
Basically.
Oh, that's horrible. No, he's got the rejuvenation treatments in Hollywood. He's got that young blood. No, he'll live to like 95. He'll be fine for all 15 seasons.
What do you mean by young blood?
We'll talk about that one if we do an exclusive on Rumble.
There's a comic book, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. There's a comic book that goes over that. But I like this casting too. I don't have a problem with this. I like the guy too. He was great in Dexter. He's been great in like everything I've watched him in. He's got the right size for it too. He's a pretty big dude. So no, I throw him in a beard and see if he can pull off a British accent. I'm good with this.
He did a British accent in Cliffhanger, didn't he?
Oh, I forgot he was in that. That movie is bananas.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
real quick, because Sylvester Stallone in that movie, he overhead pressed a dude into icicles to kill him. Do y'all remember that happening in this fucking movie?
John Lithgow did?
No, yes. Yeah, that John Lithgow.
Stallone did.
Oh, Stallone did. Yeah. I was like, no,
like he's Lex Luthor in this cave.
Throwing him into the torture
it's great.
rack.
I don't know what your problem is. It's awesome. The things you're describing are peak. But yeah, that's why I was like, I like John Lithgow. He's not British, which is like you have so many great British actors could play Dumbledore. Why would you not pick British? But if they end up going with it, I don't think I hate it. Like I like him as a
He
actor,
portrayed
so-
Winston Churchill. I would love to see a clip.
Oh,
of
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
He was
Oh,
in
yeah,
you were
yeah.
cool with that?
from The Crown.
Well, Winston Churchill is actually half American, I believe. Like
Half
one of his parents
American.
is one of his parents is American.
What a half breed.
I always
Garrett's
see, like,
always just keeping
I've
track
got all
of
the lore.
how many parts people are.
I get,
right.
It's
I get a
this
He's
newsletter.
like
You don't
half
get one?
American. I'm a quarter black.
We send out a newsletter. Okay, I got to stay on top of it.
I just don't. I just feel like Lithgow plays nearly the same person. Like even when he played the Trinity Killer, he was
insane?
still like he was still the dad from Harry and the Hendersons, like as the Trinity Killer. Like sure, he had this like alternate side to him that was like totally dark and whatever, but like I mean, he's got the same fucking hair and everything.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
he
but
does-
it's
it's
that
his hair.
undertone, though. It's that
I
undertone
know, but
he
I'm
had
saying-
of like the
but I'm saying-
sinisterness.
actors are able to transform into different people, but like I
Part of
guess
their job
maybe my filmography isn't as deep as I thought. I don't. This is how I see John Lithgow in everything. Maybe his Winston Churchill, he look different. Probably
Because
has a
he
bit of
doesn't
a,
change his face.
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you
Don't do that.
Him and Nogreenrocks and his son is completely different from him
I
and
know.
Dexter. Like there's way different
Yeah,
characters.
those characters are completely different.
He plays them completely different. And then like Cliffhanger, we just mentioned it. It's like way over the top villain, but that's a very much different villain than the
Yeah,
Trinity
in
Killer.
Ricochet. That's the Denzel Washington movie, right?
I think so.
Yes.
I think he was a bad guy in that one too.
I'm gonna be the only one here that says that he's not gonna play Dumbledore properly, and I'm gonna stick by it. Someone's got to disagree. I just don't. I love him
Look at
I've
Shags
seen
being
everything-
all negative.
in everything. I don't know.
Negative Nancy.
Realistic.
Has
Realistic.
Gotta
Put a
hate
hat
on
on him.
everything, don't
Put a
you,
hat and a
Shags? Can't ever
beard.
be excited about anything.
I like him. I like John Lithgow in almost everything I've seen him in. I don't know if I'm going to believe him as this character.
Has
But
not my
but
Dumbledore.
you know what? But here's the difference too between you guys and me is that I liked that. Like, I haven't read all of the Harry Potter books,
Nor should
For
you.
me.
but I
Shut
liked
up.
Michael Gambon
Oh,
as
man.
Dumbledore. I liked how he looked. I liked how he sounded. Sure, he didn't yell. Sorry about that.
Lord
But-
Farquaad, come on.
I heard somebody say, I was like, I didn't even
Melted.
realize he was that until somebody said, I was like, oh, the voice clicked. I was like, oh, it is Lord Farquaad. Shit. No, sorry.
I don't know why I can't picture him as I don't know why I can't do it. I know
feel
like
like-
King.
I feel like if he put a beard on, he's gonna have a big
Yeah.
beard, big wizard beard,
Yep.
and maybe
Big
some
wig.
kind of hat, wig. He's gonna look different. So like we'll see, like, and he'll have a different voice for sure. So we'll see how they play with it. I full confidence he would do a great job. I just think it's a little bit of a weird choice.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice.
Agreed. I mean, then someone else said too because someone else had tweeted out that it is a school like in Europe, in England. So like you think that I think it was Disbrew who said like this, that school is in England. So why wouldn't you have an English cast? So
Yeah.
Totally
And
valid
to
point.
A
me,
full English cast for everything for the movies. I
Yeah.
mean,
To me, that's part of the magic because it's like I grew up in Texas, right? So I don't know what it's like to live in the UK. So that was like one part removed that makes that whole world completely separate to me, So even the UK aspect to it. So I think it should just be an entire UK cast. Like there's
Ma,
a
they're
million
calling-
people there
They're
that they
calling
could.
their fries chips. These weirdos in England.
Well, I was actually just watching. My kid's been wanting to watch the Harry Potter movies, and they're on Max. So we're watching Goblet of Fire, and I didn't notice the second time watching them, a lot of the like English jargon that they're using that I didn't like pick up on, and I'm like, oh, like they're like totally bantering back and forth, but it's not stuff like to your point, Garrett. Like this is just not a culture that I'm used to, and like the words that they're using, like they don't quite make sense, but I know exactly what they're talking about, type thing. So
Like a torch,
yeah,
flashlight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Torch instead of a
Exactly.
flashlight. Yeah.
exactly.
That's
Um,
I've watched
oh,
a
I
lot
had
of British
to-
television, so that I always pick up on the slang.
They had two completely separate audiobooks because of that. They had the English version where they switched all the little words like torch and whatnot to
That's
flashlight. And that's
the
Jim
English
Dale
version and the English version.
Well, yeah, that was the Jim Dale version. So a lot of people have that, but I had the Stephen Fry, which was the UK version, which was the original, which I think is better.
Yeah, that's dumb that they would change that. I don't like it when they make changes like that. That's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. It's like the late 90s, you know.
The Narnia books,
They're
they
like,
freaking
we need to do this.
They put them in, instead of being in actual publication order, they put them in chronological order, and it completely and totally screws up.
Oh God, don't fucking do
So,
that. That's how they're doing the show. That's how
they're talking about doing it. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and that's
Starting
so
with the
stupid.
magician's nephew.
I literally bought a set off of eBay for like $18 for my kids for Christmas. That is from the 70s. That's in the original publication order. So I was like,
I got that one too.
Yeah, I love that. That was great. It's good find.
Jesse,
Yeah,
I'm putting something in our private chat that Horny Elf just actually sent me. I can't. I like in the Twitter. Not for some reason the private chat's not showing up for me.
Oh, hey,
here it is.
Scene
Sorry.
from The Crown.
Here it is.
That scene. Okay.
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, cool. Why am I hearing an echo all of a sudden?
Blame Mad.
That was weird. I could hear myself for a second.
It was probably something Shags was doing.
Probably.
Key and Peele did the best American Hogwarts ever. I didn't see. Did I see that? I don't think I did.
Probably not. Oh, this is from Netflix.
Americans are just upgraded Brits.
That's actually pretty accurate. It's actually pretty accurate. All right. I hope I shared the sound. I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even look to see. Well, we're gonna find
It's
out.
hard for an American to come down to the level of a Brit. You know what I'm saying? Like to portray a person from the UK is difficult.
2, 1.
Now comes a time where one must draw a line in the sand.
And the job of drawing that line falls to cabinet, ma'am, not to you. Something your dear
That's a Trinity killer. Next.
Have taught you had he been granted more time to complete your education. I have witnessed.
So mean.
It's gonna be a little. It's gonna be a little difficult. I agree.
Yeah. The likes of which we have not seen.
Well, and I think it's because like his voice
It's
just
not a
has
bad
such
voice,
no, it's just he's got such a unique tone that it's very distinct.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's very distinct. No matter what you hear him, it sounds, and even with an accent, which he's got a bit of he's trying for a bit of an English accent here. Even with that, he's still got that same resonance in his voice that you recognize him for.
Since the darkest days of the Blitz, but alongside the suffering, I've also seen heroism.
Gryffindor.
And where there is heroism,
that I can actually see a little bit right there.
Thank you.
I mean, I think you made a good point, Jesse. I think his distinct voice is something that like maybe that's what's shining through everything. But I could be totally wrong. Me personally, I think it's a bad choice, but I hope he proves me wrong.
I'm waiting for the kid casting because that's gonna be the deciding factor if they're fucking this shit up or if they're not gonna fuck it up.
I just
Hermione gonna be white because Harry Potter. Right. I don't think they're gonna do that to Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter will be white. Ron will be white as well because Ron is a ginger. It got to be a ginger and
you're welcome.
His family's
missing the glasses. Yeah, it's family's poor. You definitely can't make him
poor. There's no way they're gonna do that. And the only one that I think they could try and change is the one with the kinky curly hair. And she's got to be really smart and brave, whatever. They're going to make her the black girl because they've already done it. There's precedent. And we know when they do a race swap, it's hard to race swap back.
That was in a theater production, though. And like, I really do think people overblow that way too much because guess what? People of every single color have played Othello and Shakespeare, played all Hamlet and all the rest of this stuff. Like theater is very much a different thing than like putting it in a movie, which is something that's permanent that you're going to see forever and ever and ever. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
So, but I don't think they'd have the balls to do it. I really don't. I don't think. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not even the balls. I don't think they're dumb enough to do that anymore. Like I think the writing's on the wall at this point. Everybody gets it. They shelved Batgirl for a reason. So
WB is a massive retard organization. They can't
They
do
do fuck their
anything
own
but
shit up.
fuck up their shit that they have. They haven't made a Shadow of Mordor game in like 10 years when it's a
it's
perfect
so good.
property and it has a great mechanic system that they will not fucking use or let anybody else use. They keep fucking up the game industry on their side. We've seen it with
Legacy was
Rocksteady.
good. Yeah, but
That was the
Hogwarts Legacy
only
was
one.
good.
The only
Yeah, I know.
one. I will give it to you. That was the only one though. And then on the
And it
movie
was
side,
number one of the year too. It's like they went complete opposite.
yeah. Yeah, I have no confidence in WB whatsoever not fucking shit up because they will at any
Well, and
chance
they're
they
good at
get.
shooting themselves in the foot is the
Yeah.
biggest problem too. It's not like anybody else even sabotages them. They just literally shoot themselves in the foot.
If it was
And it's
Disney,
really sad because they've got such incredible properties and they've got so much. They've got such a great catalog and so many things that they could use. And just Oh, well. We're hoping for Hogwarts. Come on now. Come on, Harry Potter.
I hope they add the chick with the freckles and the red hair from every Disney movie that they kept.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Freckle
from,
Jesus.
from the Solo movie and Winter Soldier and Falcon or whatever. Yeah, they
She
should add
is
her.
Harry Potter.
Yep.
What? Yeah. What? I was just thinking the other day. What movie was it that, or what show did they have? What the fuck? Where what's his name? The Patriot comes in, not the whatever his fucking name is. Wyatt
Patriot?
Russell.
That was Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the most racist show that Disney's
Was it
ever produced.
really?
Where
Yeah.
Freckle Jesus came from.
Yep. Well, she came from
Why did I
Solo.
think that was something else?
Yeah, there was Solo too.
Huh.
No, because they give the Captain America shield to what's his face, and then by the end of the show,
Yeah, but I
Falcon
thought
is
that
time
happened
to-
before, and then they gave it to.
It happened in Endgame. So in Endgame, Cap gives it to him, and then they have a little Falcon and Winter Soldier show where he's like trying to decide if he should be Captain America. And I don't know because I'm a black man and blah. And then by the end of the show, he's Captain America, and now we have the new.
But that was the one with Wyatt
The Black
Russell,
Man.
and
But
he,
in the
he
meantime,
gets the
Wyatt
serum and
Russell-
stuff.
Yeah. In
Yes.
the
US
interim,
agent,
they give
right.
it to Walker
Right.
to be Cap, and
Yeah.
then he for some reason gets completely discharged because he fought guys terrorists that
Yeah.
killed his partner.
Right.
So they're like,
Dude,
did
he
nothing
fucked him
wrong.
up, though.
and
discharged
used the shield to decapitate him.
like a
Did
badass,
nothing wrong.
like he should.
I want to talk more about that, but first I want to say hello
Speaking
to
of
our
badasses.
guest here.
What's
Riken
up,
Knight is
everybody?
in the house. What's up, brother?
What's up?
Doing good, doing good. How's everybody doing?
Doing wonderful. Now that you're here, we were waiting for that long flowing black hair to arrive.
Dude.
I wanted to comment real quick that I didn't think the Thunderbolts new trailer was that bad. I'm just going to say that right now.
I
It-
kind of have to agree with him on that.
I'll say this. Even the first one, this one didn't lean as heavy as what are the new Guardians of the Galaxy / Suicide Squad like they did with the first trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad to me, but the Falcon Winter, not Falcon Winter, the Falcon America Soldier Captain
Oh,
Brave New
Black
World
America.
trailer. Yeah, that trailer it was a really well done trailer. Unfortunately, it had to use the footage from that movie to make that trailer, but it was a good edited trailer.
I said almost the same thing, man. That's fucking great.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Oh.
think I just don't give a fuck. Like I
And
don't
I
care
don't
about
trust
any
them.
of these characters. Like I don't
That-
care about Discount Black Widow or Red Captain Russian Communist or Ghost Bitch or whatever. Like I don't care about
Who
any
no
of these
one
characters
remembers.
at all.
Female
No one
Taskmaster.
remembers Ghost.
Female Taskmaster. Like who gives a crap?
But you know what, Garrett? I think that's what it has. I think that's a good thing for it because I think and that it's sad to say. I
Maybe.
think the low expectations that everyone has going into it will, I think, in some ways probably help it. Because honestly, like I said, the trailer didn't seem that bad to me. Like the music seemed to go with it. There was good cuts in there. There was good banter, like interesting action that I want to like know more about. All this stuff. I have zero expectations or care about it in the greater Marvel continuity. Don't care at all. But it could be one of those things that might revive some sort of interest in something. Maybe I just will be interested in Thunderbolts and Thunderbolts 2. Maybe this will be just a one-off, like this is really good, and then I'll never touch it again. But
maybe
I honestly haven't given a crap about anything until this second trailer, and I was like, you know what? This piqued my interest.
I think the villain looks cool as Sentry. Is that no wait?
Yeah,
it's Sentry.
Are you gonna? But is that second trailer gonna make you want to go see it in the theater, like opening weekend?
Oh God, no.
Or at all? Or is that something you'd wait for streaming for?
I mean, that's the thing is like it for me. It would. I'm broke, so I'll probably just wait till.
But really, that's what it comes down to, right? Is it enough to get people's butts in the seats? I agree. It was a good trailer. I enjoyed it. I thought the banter was great. There was a couple of times I chuckled. You know what I mean? Some of those action sequences were great, but it's not going to make me want to go see this in the theater because, like you said, we're all broke. The theaters are fucking expensive, and unless it's something is just going to be good, you're not going to go. But you're not going to bother going and seeing it, and the movie's going to flop no matter what, whether it's good or not. The movie's going to flop.
I'll see it on $5 Tuesdays. That's when I'll see it. I'm not paying.
What do you think is going to do better? Do you think you think Brave New World or the Thunderbolts is going to have a bigger box office draw?
I think just because of the Captain America name, Brave New World's going to have a bigger draw, and that might just because of internationally. Thunderbolts, because nobody knows who the fuck they are or why they should bother going to this movie to see it. Because guess what? Nobody saw Black Widow either, so nobody knows who most of these characters are.
Well, that was an entirely different situation.
Yeah, Bucky.
Right, but okay, Bucky, but I'm talking about like the rest of them.
And
obviously,
Bucky should be the fucking lead. Why the fuck? Did you notice that last Black
trailer?
Widow Jr.?
What he should be the lead, but in
that
a
was
Brave
one of the
New
things
World.
I noticed about that last trailer.
Well,
they had him a way more front and center in that last trailer.
It's insane. Why the fuck would he do this? Like they keep backpedaling this guy. He's been here since fucking the original Captain America movie. Like it's trash, dude. He should be Captain America right now.
Yes.
It makes no fucking sense to give it to Falcon. Falcon was a great character on his own.
It came out of nowhere.
It was 100%. And it was at the end of Endgame. DEI, where they were like, let's have a girl empowerment scene. Let's give the shield to the black guy. Like fuck that shit. Dude,
let's make Thor a woman.
It's insulting, dude.
No, he doesn't need a super soldier serum. We'll just have him throw it at a mattress tied to a tree, a whole bunch.
What the fuck?
He can tank Hulk.
He's got a vibranium suit now with nanotech. The fucking little clip I saw today. Oh my god, it was so retarded. So he drops out of fucking Halo, right? Like all high altitude. Fucking, he's got his little oxygen mask. He's like, oh, the guy's like, well, this is a covert insert. He's like, oh, you don't know, you've never been around here very long. We do covert inserts all the time. Da, 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 da. So he comes down.
Covert insert your mom last night.
He flies down from the clouds, right? Does the full-blown superhero landing, right? Fucking little nanotech mask comes off because of course it has to. And then all of a sudden he goes, wait for it. And then the shockwave hits and knocks all these guys down after he's already been on the ground for like a legit 5 seconds.
That's not even how that power worked in the Black Panther bullshit. Remember, it was absorbing the energy because that's what
he could release it.
Yeah,
when he wanted,
or I think it built up and then would release on its own after it built up so much energy or whatever. But either way, it's not
it's just energy
response.
Blue balls is all it is.
Yeah. And that at that point, I don't even know if I'd have to go back and look at the suit again. I don't even know if that's the vibranium suit or if that's the first one.
You know what sucks about all this is like it makes me not give a fuck about superhero stuff. The same thing happened with me with Star Wars. I can't tell you how much I love Star Wars. It was my number one fucking thing. It was what my dad loved it. It was the earliest movie I remember watching in the movie theater was Empire Strikes Back when it did the re-release with my dad. It was like super connected to me. And then like all my friends when I was like a 13-year-old, we're like, oh, you like Star Wars too? You like Star Wars? Sweet. And we're like, that was our thing, man. I read all the books, all that shit. And the Disney movies have completely destroyed that for me. I don't care about Star Wars. I don't think about Star Wars. I don't want to see anything. I don't even want to watch the original Star Wars. I have not watched the originals in like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And it's doing the same thing for me with superhero stuff. And it's like, am I getting older and do I care about this comic book stuff less? I don't know. Is it because all this shit is just constantly the dumbest garbage? Because when I go back and look at at comics that I do love, I'm like, oh, no, I do love this stuff. I love these stories. These are great, like parables and stories about heroism. Like that shit does matter. But then I'm just like getting inundated by this garbage slop nonstop, and I'm like, do I even care about it anymore? I don't know.
Well, and
they don't.
I mean, there's fatigue, but I don't know if it's superhero fatigue or if it's just crap movie fatigue.
No, I don't believe in superhero fatigue at all. But I think if they were making quality movies, people would still be watching it. There may be a dip, but not to the level that you see now. Just because Endgame was that cap. It was such a perfect cap that anything after, you're going to see a dip, but it didn't have to be this degree. And that's because it just definitively were shittier made movies from that point moving forward.
Yeah,
across the board.
I mean, even
the fact that everything has to be linked together in some way. You can't just have a standalone movie about a character anymore. I mean, Thunderbolts, that may be one of the things about Thunderbolts that actually may work, is it doesn't seem to tie in the same way that everything else does. But we'll see what it's teasing.
It's interesting you bring that up, because there was something I was thinking about this past week, is that remember when like movies were made just as one-offs? They had like they would have like a rock band that would make an anthem for it, and then that would be in the movie, and then they would just everything would tie off at the end, and then you have like a run.
A hero could save us, not just stand here and wait. Come on,
that music video was sick.
Oh,
that
that's what it was. Like,
and they're watching us. Come on, dude.
Wait, what band was that? That was
Howard. That was Nickelback.
Oh my god, I was gonna say, I was like, no way.
And some other guest singer as well.
Well, that goes to a whole different thing. That when soundtracks were awesome, they don't make soundtracks like what they used to. Batman and Robin has a legit amazing soundtrack. Gotham City by R. Kelly. My god.
Yeah, Batman Forever was just too fucking good for its own. It was way ahead of its time.
It was. It really was, bro.
Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. There was an Offspring song on that one.
Kissed by a Rose, dude.
Yeah.
But now, no, other than it is a point, it's a selling point of a movie if it has good music. Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it becomes part of the meta of the advertisement of the movie. But no longer do we have just great movies with, great soundtracks with even shit movies. You know, it just doesn't happen. I don't know if they've been priced out because it was so expensive to give the license to have it.
Yeah.
Well, if they're paying, I don't know, I guess, but like some of these big superhero movies are paying Hans Zimmer to do their fucking,
I feel like music has got to be super cheap these days. It's like meaningless now.
Yeah, the music industry, because of the profits of streaming, isn't anywhere near what record sales were, obviously. So
we may be seeing it though. Come down in price because of AI, because it's so easy for people to make music now. If you wanted to do a soundtrack for a movie, you don't need Hans Zimmerman or Nickelback. Apparently, you could just do AI music for your soundtrack. So we may see to where it becomes affordable again. You have like End of the Road by Boyz II Men back on a soundtrack.
Wait, I think that would do the inverse. If it's so easy to make AI crap music, then human-made classics will be more valuable because they're more rare.
Oh, okay. I see what you meant by the inverse. Maybe.
And be like, I need that Boyz II Men because it's sung by an actual person.
Well, and I think that's one of the things too. I think I've argued this for a while with the AI. I think there'll always be an uncanny valley effect to some of it, because like Mr. Grant Gregory's wrote a couple of really badass songs for like our Doctor Who show on Sunday nights, and even then you can still tell it's computer generated, right? There's still an aspect of it to it, and also the reason why all of the AI stuff sounds good is because of that algorithm that they figured out with pop music, right? So you're never going to get anything original or inspiring out of an AI generated program as you are from an actual individual. So I think there's always going to be a place for individuals creating music and creating incredible scores and things like that. It's just, but at the exact same time, you're also gonna be able to have a bunch of low budget movies out there who can use AI, but like the bigger stuff, the bigger studios, the bigger places, they'll always use orchestras, they'll use composers, they're going to do that kind of thing. Cause I don't know, there's just something more real about it. And I think their own elitism will never allow them to not do it that way as well.
Yeah.
but it allows somebody who has no musical talent but may be able to write lyrics or write out something that can be turned into lyrics into Suno and have it spit out a song that actually is serviceable.
I know that's targeted to me because I am a big nerd with Suno. I love it. I use it all the freaking time. And I think that you can get some good original things there by mixing different genres that normally wouldn't mix. And it can actually blend into something that's pretty unique.
I have no idea what Suno is.
It's an AI generating.
AI songwriting.
Yeah, friend of mine.
That's what I used for the intro to my shows. That's what Mad uses for the intro to his shows.
Oh, okay.
We just plug in some lyrics, let it generate everything in between, and then fine tune it until we've got something that we think sounds catchy.
Yeah. Like an STD.
I feel like that's like a slippery slope because I understand it for people that have like no talent at all. And no offense, I'm not talking about you guys, but like,
no, we have no talent.
Okay, keep going. I'm listening.
So you have zero talent, right? And you just want to like get something out, and like that's cool that you can have AI that helps you out. But think about the person that does have that talent potential, but doesn't do the work that they should do to develop that talent. They just go right to the AI because it's easier. And then over time, 10, 12 decades from now, people are just going to be, they aren't going to do shit. They're just going to be sitting in their room as a blob going, AI, make a song. Blah, 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 blah. That's the music, man. That's what the fucking algorithm gave me.
So that's what leads us to idiocracy.
Yeah. I think it is because now we're not working on personal skills. We're just letting the robots make the shit, and we're just like, well, that's cool. I think it should
either go down idiocracy or Wall-E path.
Yeah, I think we're headed for that direction, unless we hardcore change change our perspective.
It takes a little bit more than just AI making music because I'll tell you, for anything that I actually end up using, I have 100 different variations of it that are slightly different, but I'm going through each version of it, trying to tweak it to where I get to where I want to be. Exactly. Okay, well, when you act it out physically, it looks like that, sure. But as far as
just
time
consuming, how to make AI music,
it still takes time.
But you're not developing actual skills of music, like how to compose stuff.
And
or
I'm
how
not
to
playing
play.
Guitar Hero thinking I'm learning how to play fucking like Slash either, though.
I'm not. That's why I had a whole preamble. I may
have missed it.
If you want to just do it for like small stuff, that's cool. But I think there's a bigger issue on like a global like time scale. If we just continue to use this, it'll be the easiest path, and that's what most people then will just gravitate towards. And then we're not going to be building ourselves up as skills. We're just going to be turning into, blobs that just do whatever the algorithm says.
I think we've all heard this before. Oh, if the gays get married, then they're going to start trying to transition our kids. This slippery slope shit is out of hand.
Well, it's something that I think, it's glossed over. Like Gary make a good point. Like, and it's something that I try to say a lot. And if it's one thing I scream on Twitter anymore, it's just like, it's touch grass, but it's not as simple as that because like, yes, it's great to have a skill or to be able to sort of like cut that corner to get something because you don't have that skill. But I think it does lead to a path of like complacency where people are like, well, I could just throw this into AI and it'll help me gather ideas. It's like, well, part of like the process is, failing multiple times at it in order to get the thing right after, like I get something wrong 200 times to get it perfect on the 201st try. And it's the only reason like also that we are able to build muscle in the way we do is because we have this constant force of gravity pushing down on us, like essentially like crunching us into a ball. But because we continually push against that force, and then some of us lift weights against it, that we're able to develop and become stronger. And I know that sounds like stupid or whatever, but this is exactly it. It's in the simplest form. You you get stronger because you withstand the force of the world just like pressing down on you. I mean, like anything else, you want to get better at something, you got to keep trying. You're going to suck at it for a while, then you'll be better, you'll be good. I mean, Garrett, you and I have been working with coding stuff. Yeah. We suck at it, but like the more you do it, the more you suck at it, the better you become at understanding the foundational concepts behind it and all that, if it's something you're interested in. But
I think it's if no, sorry, go.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like it's we know that like it's going to take that delayed gratification and that like hard work to succeed at something later down the line. But it's like we got to make sure that as a society we continue to develop that mindset, because it's very easy with technology today to kind of slip into that mindset of just instant gratification. So it's like if we don't continue to actively raise the next generation with delayed gratification, then it is going to just slip into that thing where you're just going to want to go the easy route, because you just want that dopamine hit right away, rather than a delayed dopamine hit.
But since we started with music, I mean, specifically music, haven't we pretty much gotten there? I mean, almost all the pop music is written by like 3 or 4 guys.
Well, yeah, and they all use the same 4 chords.
Yeah, but
and it's all the same formula.
It's literally
all the same algorithm.
Yes, it's already the same algorithm for pop music. Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about
that,
if we're talking about like
chords,
the music that like the music industry pushes, sure, but like a lot music is starting to like people that are doing independent music is starting to become a lot more popular lately, and people that are, and usually those guys are the ones that are pushing more music that's just not what you hear on the radio generally, and they're usually putting a lot more work into it than modern day music industry is.
Well, we're running 2 different music industries now, because you've got a whole bunch of kids who, for the most part, know of a whole bunch of independent artists from TikTok and Instagram, and that's where those artists blow up. And then you've got what the music companies are still pushing on the radio, and that's to all the older generations who still actually may listen to a radio at some point. But I mean, there's 2 distinct lines in music right now that I've been seeing.
I do find that interesting. It's like the people that grew up with the radio and with those mainstream avenues for music, we get the same basically AI cookie cutter slop crap, and we're like, there's no good music anymore. But like you just said, there's tons and tons of music out there. It's just so spread out, and it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah,
but it's still there.
But nowadays, it's becoming easier with social media for independent people to push their music.
Yeah,
and if anything, because it's easier to push their own music, they're working their asses off more than the people in the music industry, because they have to in order to get themselves out there and get themselves known. But because it's easier, it's like to do that kind of thing.
And it's easier for a song to go viral on social media.
But but they are putting in the work themselves rather than letting a company do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what like the blind acceptance of AI has done, I think, overall, is now you have companies like Marvel putting out a Fantastic Four poster, and the guy has 4 fingers in it.
Wait,
like,
does he? I mean, I have
4
fingers.
1, 2, 3,
fingers.
4.
What?
Hey, thumbs are not fingers. What's going on?
Thumbs are not fingers, dude.
Anyways,
he only has 4 digits.
He's 4 digits. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like they're shameful that they're using it, to the point where they'll go out and lie and say that they're not using it, but they're totally using it.
Like
100%.
The evidence is obvious. We've all used AI. We know how bad AI is with hands. That's what everybody looks for. That's the first thing you go, is that AI? Looking for the fingers.
Maybe he was born that way.
Maybe it's inclusion. Yeah, maybe they found a 4 fingers.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Then you think, okay, does the company not know that the artists that they're hiring are using AI? Is that the problem?
Could be.
That could totally be
People
the problem. They're like,
shortcuts.
Yeah, I'm hiring an artist to do this poster, and this artist goes, "Oh, I'm going to cut corners because it's fucking Marvel. Nobody's overseeing this. It's like the government. I'm going to use the AI to do it. AI does it. They don't even double check it. They just go stamp. It looks fine. Boop.
Yeah, but your lead marketing officer or whatever would take in anything, and they would have to go over this poster and be like, "Oh yeah, this like they're the ones approving it."
They released the Marvels
across
an entire movie that is ass.
No. That's the thing about it. Think about it, especially in marketing, right? Like marketing is one of the most infected places by like the woke cult and all that kind of nonsense. You know, the whole people based on immutable characteristics instead of actual merit. Of course, they're going to look at that and go, "Yeah, that's good," and just pass it on. They're not going to fucking go over that with a fine tooth comb.
And of course, because you have a whole bunch of people who don't have any talent or skill are going to take the shortcuts to do AI.
But across the board, there is a lack of quality control. I've said this for years. If Disney had a memeologist, someone to be like, "No, dude, that shit could be made in the meme so fucking easy," it would have saved them so much heartache over these years. Just someone say, "That's dumb. Here's what the internet will say." But there's nothing like that. That's why you have so many mistakes that you see that people will highlight, whether it's in comics, movies, they use AI like this. And if they had someone that was just looking, Game of Thrones, all the fucking Starbucks cups, how do you keep making that same mistake? and no one checks, no one sees it until the premiere. Yeah. I use Premiere Pro all the time. I look at the same shit over and over and over again. They don't have that guy? How can an editor not see these little things when he's looking at it constantly, over and over again, every few seconds?
It's because you need another pair of eyes to also look at it.
That's the thing, is it's not just one editor. It's the editor, it's the assistant editor,
right?
It's the visual effects artist, it's the comp artist, it's the fucking rotoscope artist. It's all of the different layers of people that it has to get through, and it still gets through because none of the people that are doing it, and I don't begrudge them, because like you're in a corporate system like Marvel, who gives a fuck? They've already fucked you over on your time. They've said 3 different versions of a scene, and now you've got a month to finish the scene because they've changed their mind again at the last hour. So fuck these guys. Okay, I'll get it out as fast as I can.
You're working on a Marvel movie where they basically say, "Well, here's how the fight should go."
Yeah,
just
so there's
animated.
no love in it. There's no art in it because you're like just trying to stamp it out and get it through.
Yeah, there's no investment in it because it's all paid for by big money mouse.
Yeah, I think it's an odd irony that these people will like uphold their company as like these DEI champions, all while wasting their money because, you know, fight the man. We're not going to work for you. But it's like, well, you are working for these companies and you're wasting their money by not doing your job because you feel you're entitled to someone else's money. Like it's just this weird, like liberal feedback loop that they've created.
I got to tell you, if I worked for Marvel, I'd do as little work as possible.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what they're doing.
And go. Unless it was like hey, we're really trying to do something great here. We're trying to come together all and like work on a project that we all really love, and we're going to take our time with it. We're going to play. That's not how Marvel does it. They go, we're going to previs all this shit way before there's even a director. We're not going to write a script. All that stuff's already pre-done. It's a cookie cutter thing, and we're just getting that machine going. And that's the problem with like the whole last phase, is that machine was going for like 2 phases, and it was kind of starting to slow down and not work all that great. Then they ended it, and they didn't know what to do, but the machine had to be fed. It had to be fed. Here's 15 different TV shows. Here's a bunch of trash movies. And then on top of that, you had COVID and hit and all that crazy shit. And there's no movie theaters. So it's just like this massive train was rolling, and then the tracks stopped. Yeah. And it was like, the train stopped, gotta go. We gotta go somewhere.
Yep.
It's been a shit show, dude.
Yeah, and it's just go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Garrett's absolutely right. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen herself came out and said that that's exactly how it was on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. She stopped reading the previews from the day before because as soon as she got on set the next day, everything would have already changed because they didn't have a finished script when she got there. You know, and so it was a complete and total shit show every single day she was on set. And that's been like Quarterback Garrett said, that's been the same across all of it. So, yeah, of course. And the worst part is the story I heard was that worked like for the first couple of movies. That's how they did it. Yeah. And so they never bothered changing because they were making money. And then eventually when you started losing all of the talented people that actually could work on the fly and pull something together at the end like they could, once all those people are gone and you replace them with a bunch of diversity hires and try to do the exact same thing, well, then you get the Eternals and the Marvels and shit like that, and Star Wars The Acolyte, so
there was passion before. There was like a true passion for storytelling, and now it feels like these things were like what's her name, Headland, like it's like she took her idea and threw it into an AI generator, and that's what it spit out. She's like, oh, this is a good idea, let me put it on a page now.
Like with a lot of people, when they come in, they have their story they want to tell, and they've been hired by Marvel or Lucasfilm or whoever, and now they're going to fit that world that they've been hired to work in into their story rather than crafting a story within the world.
The other way around, right?
It's just they're just overlaying it.
Like I can't imagine ever in my life thinking I knew how to write a better story than George Lucas. He'll be like, no, I'm going to take his
Dialogue,
world.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like that. I mean, what was created in, arguably the first 6 films, like I'm going to take that. And then I'll try and work something through that. I'm not going to try and upend everything he did. Like, to me, that just seems like crazy talk. I don't know.
You're right, because you're playing in somebody else's sandbox, and you should respect that sandbox if you're going to play in it. And the problem is these people don't give a shit. They're drunken cats. They just want to come in and shit all over the sandbox. And then hey, look at all this fancy art we've got. Don't you love our shit? Isn't it fancy art? No, it's cat shit.
You don't like it? You're racist.
Right,
true.
You're a sexist.
You don't like poo? You're a poopophobe.
But what was missing in Marvel post phase 3 and in Star Wars is at least the first couple phases of Marvel, they had an actual plan. We're going to introduce these characters. We're going to do this. We're going to get to here. I don't know if I don't think it was Feige. I think it was James Gunn, because there is the story out there that the Russo brothers and James Gunn were basically the ones that were like, okay, so this is how we get from here to here to here to here to here. They had an outline that they were going by that ended in those 2 stories. Star Wars, you've got 2 different directors that they're not actually doing anything with each other. You're supposed to be making a trilogy where you don't have an outline for how the trilogy is going to play out. Here's where we start. Here's where we end. And in the middle, we've got to have this conflict. They're just like, let's just make 3 movies and call them a trilogy.
That's less JJ than it is. Ryan came in with his own story that he was going to. He wrote it in a day and a half or some dumb shit.
Right. So they should have just had one director hired.
He was taking night classes in Philosophy 101, where he finds out that, through mistakes is the greatest teacher or whatever, right? Like, oh, they're so smart, fucking. I'm like goddamn Plato. Anyway, and so he wants to use that he learned in the course, the night before, and he's like, ooh, and this is the story. Wait, I got to use Star Wars. Okay, there's the green guy. I know him. And then boom, that's how you get The Last Jedi.
The green guy.
That's what happened. So then JJ has to come back on, and he's not good at having to answer questions. He's awesome at like, here's a mystery box. Not going to tell you what's in it. I'll wait for somebody else to do it. Shit, I got to do it. Palpatine comes back for some reason.
Yeah. But he also is like, Abrams, The Force Awakens was literally just a redo of New Hope. So, it's just like him doing Star Trek. It was basically, we've got new actors. We're going to change the sets up a little bit, but we're just going to do the exact same story and movie.
I think what's even more sad is that like George Lucas gave him an outline for 3 movies, and they just threw it out the window.
Yeah.
Like, was it the Wills story or was it a different one?
I'm not sure what the stories were exactly, but I know he had an outline for 3 movies. He just didn't want to do it.
George had some crazy ass ideas about bringing in the Wills.
He was talking about. Do you guys remember when they released the special edition trilogy on VHS, and they had all those interviews in it? He was talking about the trilogies then. I remember watching those, and he was like, we're going to do 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to, I have 5, 6, and 7, or I'm sorry.
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9, like already planned. I was as a kid, I was like, oh my God, really? Like, I can't wait for this. And then it happened. And it's like, wow, that was disappointing. Like,
I think it would have been disappointing either way. I think we would have. It wouldn't have been what we were expecting. It would have been what George was expecting. But at least in that, it's George's baby. It's his brainchild. It's his world. It's not, like, at least in that way I could accept it. But this is like, you purchased this, you had no plan, you just shot from the hip and hired a bunch of people to do random shit in your world, and you got worse and worse at it as you went. Like, it's decanonized. It means nothing to me.
Yeah. That's the worst part. Like,
well, that is the craziest part of all of this. I mean, Star Wars, you already had continuing stories, like Chad just said in the chat.
Yep.
And Marvel, you have stories already. You don't have to come up with new stories. You just adapt the ones that are there.
The comics are literally storyboards for a movie. That's exactly what they are. It's not rocket science at all.
That's too nerdy.
No, man. The thing about it is, and I brought this up before too. Some of the animes that I've compared to their mangas, like, they do it right. It's literally a 1-for-1, like, scene for scene, page for page in some of these things.
But that doesn't always work though when we're talking film, live action.
Why? Why wouldn't it?
Why? Look at fucking Green Lantern from the damn Superman movie. That's why. Look at his hair. That shit don't work.
You don't make the entire costume CGI. Like, what?
That's not what I
understand. Like, they're different mediums. So there's comic books, which are 24-page floppies that you get a set number of those that go into an entire arc. It's hard to one-to-one that, but
condense
you can try. You can get close.
I mean, the Watchmen got close.
Oh yeah,
Watchmen was real close.
But like now, it seems like the last phase was just making shit up with the names. Like, I don't remember.
There's no comparison to any storyline in the comics whatsoever, except in name only. I mean, I guess you could kind of argue the Secret Wars television show, but that thing was an abomination.
Was that an arc? The fuck?
No,
was that?
That's what I'm saying.
That shit up.
No, fuck yeah.
Civil War was the biggest.
Civil War wasn't even Civil War, bro.
I know, it was the beginning of the end for me when I saw that. I was like, okay, like what they did was
still one of their better movies.
Age of Ultron,
I mean, it was still good, but like, as far as the translation from the comic to that, like, I understand it would take like probably 5 or 6 seasons of a TV show to actually do that right.
And they didn't have the rights to the mutants either, which
they didn't have
a big part of the Civil War.
That was the reason why Civil War didn't happen the right way.
But like, then don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like if they had tried to do House of M back then. Like, with characters from, with like Scarlet Witch, and that's it. But they kind of did try to do that with WandaVision. So
with WandaVision, they did try to do it a little bit.
When I started like getting disillusioned, which was way before Phase 4. It was with Age of Ultron. It was more like Weekend of Ultron. This was not the Age of Ultron. Like, it should have been a whole ass phase of like him taking over and shit.
Right.
It was like, what the fuck is this?
A 3-movie trilogy of its own.
Yeah, we didn't get enough time with Quicksilver.
I like Quicksilver.
I did too. I like him a lot.
Aaron Taylor Johnson as well.
I'm a big fan of
him. Yeah, that was I thought that was a really shitty thing. That they just threw that in just to be like an emotional gut wrench. That wasn't earned at all.
No, because they kept getting complaints like, "Oh, no one ever dies in these movies." Fine, we'll bring in this really cool character that people are kind of digging, and we'll kill him off immediately. There,
right
now, no one's safe except for everyone that's already been safe. Will continue to be safe.
Right. Up until you just use Robert Downey Jr. as an excuse to cut him out.
Night 4.
Yep, Night 4.
See ya.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The whole thing fell apart for me the second you get time travel or a multiverse. I've said this a ton of times. There's no stakes in the movie at all going forward. If all you have to do is either rewind time or find somebody else in the multiverse to pull back in to replace the character.
Shags, what is it called in coding where you have like this buildup of bad code? There's a term for that. Where at the end,
0011001.
Shut up. At the end of your project, you'll have bad code, and it'll just be like it's debt. It's like it's bad debt. Like, you just build it up over time. And I think that the entire way that the MCU works was only ever going to end up like this.
Are you because you end up Cascade failure?
No. It's like it's a data debt or something like that. I'm thinking of, but it's like you have so many things that need to connect with each other, and then you're inevitably gonna get shit that like tangents that don't go anywhere, shit that never gets resolved, stuff that you set up in one thing that should affect the rest of the entire universe, that ends up getting fucked up with, like the whole blip and everything. Like, it was only ever going to get overly complicated and unwieldy.
Right. So that's when, as soon as you had resolved that storyline with Thanos, you started all over again. Or wait a couple of years and started all over again.
This is where I've heard people talk about why like manga is outpacing American comics in both print and in like movies, is because there's American comics, there's no stakes, zero stakes. And by that, I mean, these characters die multiple times. There's multiple runs of these people. It doesn't matter if your favorite character gets killed in issue number 15, because in next year, he's going to come back as something different, or there's going to be another variation. Yeah. But in manga, like, that character generally is there, and then the story either runs its course after 20 or 300 issues, the person dies or someone else takes over. This is not how American comics work. People enjoy stories that have a beginning, middle, and end. That's it. Because now it's like life, right? It'd be like if you
also enjoy specific characters.
Right.
And that's
why characters get revived all the time, is because people can't deal with them being gone for any real reason. When you're talking about very specific characters, the big ones.
Well, also with like comic books, there's too much entanglement with like stories. Like, there will be like a big event going on in a comic book, and then you have to buy like 10 different comic books in order to get the entire story.
True.
Whereas like you're just not getting the one story of this one character, and there's not a beginning to end. It's just like continuation. It's like
even
reading a George R.R. Martin book with only 2 POVs.
Yeah,
like you needed 7 POVs to actually
and the thing about
fill in.
The thing about that is that's more
technical debt is what I was thinking.
Technical debt. Okay, yeah.
But Rankin, that trope you're talking about is something that's more of the modern era that has done that. Because if you go back and like we've been like on Friday nights with over on 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser's channel, we go back and read like classic comics. Like we've been reading like ASM, like the Ramita run and stuff like that. Like I think we finished off on like ASM 73 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's not like that at all back then. It's not, there's none of that kind of nonsense. Spider-Man stories. Occasionally you'll have somebody come in, like we had one with the Human Torch came in and stuff like that, because Spider-Man had showed up in their comics before, but you didn't need to know anything about Spider-Man and Torch's past relationship that Stan Lee couldn't put in a little blurb, or more likely Ramita couldn't put in a little blurb right there on the side to explain it to you real quick. And then you can move right into the rest of the story. You know, that's something that didn't start happening in the modern era. And I think, and this was something that I was just thinking about this while you guys were all talking, was I think what had happened with a lot of these guys like Feige and some of these other guys that have been in charge of this stuff. Yes, they've read comic books. They are comic book fans, but they probably didn't start reading comics until like the 90s. And they never went back and read any of the old stuff. All they did was start into there and just kept moving forward. Because if you go back into the old stuff, you realize like the older Captain America, you've got these single issue stories, you've got these arcs that don't involve a whole bunch of other people. And it's the same thing with Spider-Man and all this other kind of stuff. And you can do that and not have a problem with it. But because they don't know how those stories worked back then, they don't know how to do anything but team ups, because that's all a lot of the modern comics has been. Because there was a Green Lantern run that somebody recommended that was really good because of this new author that's been in it. It's something that came out in like 2022. And I'm reading through it, and I'm trying to read through just the Green Lantern story just to follow Hal Jordan's story. And that's exactly what happened, Rankin. It's like, well, you missed. Oh, well, here we catch up with our characters in his main run. Well, they've just been off in 6 other issues of this other comic. I'm like, where the hell am I? No, that's stupid. But that's not the way it used to work. That's a modern era thing. And that's
it did though. It did though. In 1995, Age of Apocalypse was over 9 different comic books from the Gambit and the X-Men, and then a whole bunch. I'm a big fan of Age of Apocalypse. It's one of my favorite times of comic books. But it did span across multiple, I think 9 different comic book storylines. As a whole, but if you can get the collection, it's worth it. I really love a lot of the different stories in there.
But in the movies, Jesse, I mean, that was the plan. The whole point was to get to the Avengers. It's not that they didn't know that there weren't crossovers. The point was to get to the Avengers. It was going to be the first time that you tied in 13 to 15 movies to then have a team. I mean,
Right,
that kind of was the point. It wasn't ever to make individual movies after Iron Man.
Well, and I get that, but it's like one of those things. It's like once you do the Avengers movies, then you go back and do single stories. But instead, every single character story, had multiple other characters from all of the rest of these movies in it. It's like,
but that's also the problem with doing comic book movies. Once you have all of these characters introduced, it's like, well, why the hell wouldn't this person be coming over to help out this person?
Yeah.
Because
he don't need no man.
I wish we would just drop the connected stuff. It was an interesting idea, and maybe it does in small batches, but to have everything have to connect to each other, like we never get a standalone. Like think about Blade. That movie. Perfect. That movie was just about Blade and his character. That was all. That's all you needed.
Put everybody back in their sandboxes.
Well, that's all you thought you needed until you get Blade Trinity, and then you're like, this is what I always needed.
You know what? I love Blade Trinity, and I am not ashamed of saying that I love that movie.
I think it's a lot of fun.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, dude, that's like the first time you get to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is in that movie right there.
Well, because that's all he's ever been able to play.
Like, look, with Batman, right? In the last decade, we've had like 3 different Batman movies. I'm okay with that. I wish we would have that more. Like, give Guillermo del Toro a Batman movie and I want to see his version of Batman. I want to see all these different versions of Batman. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be sick? And then if you don't like it, okay, there's another Batman in a couple of years. Another director will have his take. I'm fine with that. And like people complain about, we see Spider-Man origins over and over. Like, yeah, because that's Spider-Man. That's where you build up. Like the problem with Tom Holland Spider-Man is that we didn't get that until the 3rd fucking movie. Right. We didn't get why he is Spider-Man, right? So I'm okay with like rebooting it every once in a while, but not like in the idea of trying to make a franchise. Just give somebody else a take. Because when you look at the comics, there's runs that are a certain artist, a certain writer, and then it'll change. And it'll be a different artist, and it'll be a different writer, and then it'll change again. Or you'll be reading Detective Comics, and it's a different storyline of Batman from the mainline story of Batman. And they're completely separate running at the same time. So it's like we could do that in the movies. It's possible.
Like, with doing like they should be doing that because it's like we've built up way too high of stakes with superhero movies for way too long now, and so it just like the stakes don't feel like they don't feel like real, or like they don't feel like there's anything at jeopardy really. It's like, oh, they're gonna be able to deal with it. It's like if you do just individual movies where the stakes are a little bit lower and you're just focusing on the one character, then like you can bring everybody's expectations down so that like when something epic does happen, it really hits.
Yeah.
Or when you want to bring them together, it's going to be for something that's actually feels like it's like a cosmic event. And so it's like, so that it does feel like it's epic when you do get to see all these characters together. Whereas like, if you're just doing it all the time, it just like everybody's like expectations are just keep getting.
That's why they used to be called crossover events.
That would take patience and that would take patience and planning. 2 things that they do not do well.
Yeah, like I
think the other problem is those bloated budgets, because the CW did that relatively well. The whole crossover events, you'd have it once a season. It'd be like a 2 or 3 thing. But I think the problem is these budgets are so freaking. They want to make everything a $300 million movie for these budgets, and you have to have all of these people in there because the marketing says it's the only way. If you divide all of that up and make a $50 million, $100 million one character story without all of the extra stuff, then exactly, Rankin. It would make those team ups so much more special.
Make an $80 million John Bernthal
got overbloated with their stuff.
Sorry, like even make that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say even the CW got overbloated. Like Arrow was best when it was simple. Like the moment the Arrow got more complicated, they started adding more characters, like side characters and stuff. It just like it got worse.
Yeah, all of this team and everything else.
This is what I'll never understand why they never invested in doing. Like, for some reason, they couldn't figure out a Hulk movie. They did. Edward Norton, I think, did a great job in his portrayal of it. But like Taika Waititi did a complete ripoff of Planet Hulk.
Yeah,
like you have guaranteed success if you write and direct and make Planet Hulk the right way. Like it can be its own self-contained story because you could even work it into the canon that's there. Like, well, he was gone for so long. Well,
a
why?
lot of that has to do with licensing, and because
I understand, but Jesus, like at this point, aren't they able to work with like almost every character at this point?
They own pretty much everything but Spider-Man.
The Hulk is owned by Universal, half of it, isn't it?
But
the
also
rights
it
are
comes
kind of
down to
for the film
the
rights.
distribution goes to somebody else as well. Like it's a real mixed bag.
Yeah,
Some retard needs to figure it out now because they are wasting time.
Elon, get in there.
I think
and
the issue
fucking check out what's going on. Okay,
Doge's next job.
I think with the issue with like the Hulk, though, is like, does anybody really know any Hulk villains that are normies?
Red Hulk.
Wait, yeah, the three poodles?
Yeah, because like other than like I was never really into the Hulk comics. I knew who the Hulk was, but like the only thing that I knew was like Hulk versus Wolverine. That was the only one that I ever knew of, and that's about it. And Red Hulk. But that was like, even then I was like kind of like,
if you haven't read Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, you should spend a night or two like just going.
I remember seeing the cartoon movies of those. But that was about it.
They're spectacular, and it would be I think it would just be a slam dunk if they could find a way to do it. I mean,
I wouldn't trust them now. I wouldn't trust them with
anything.
The problem is that I don't.
Not with Ruffalo. I don't want him in that fucking.
No, not with Ruffalo.
But he would. I mean, he's in his Hulk form the whole time, so it wouldn't really matter all that much. I mean, you wouldn't really see him in his human form, luckily. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Without disconnecting all of the stories, I don't know how it can continue. Like
it can't.
It can't.
It needs a full reset because they've taken the stakes completely out by having the multiverse and the time travel. Like I said, I mean, you just can't continue after that.
The way I did see a cool video, someone explained it, like the method of which they invented that Tony Stark invented the like time travel was actually consistent with the lore within. So the reason they didn't get caught, so he illustrated it with like a circular piece of paper. The design, it was like this sort of like, I forget what it's called, but the reason they didn't get caught by the TVA, because everyone's like, well, why didn't they get caught? They made multiple splits, so they should have pruned all these whatever.
Put everything exactly the way it was.
No, that's not what it was. It was the method. When Tony says, "Oh, I figured it out," there's a hologram on the table. It looks like kind of like a spiral,
a twisted vortex.
Twisted, like yeah. So the person illustrated this. They like they took a ribbon that was circular and they cut it down the middle. And what that did was, if there's a twist in it, it keeps it together. No matter how many times you cut that down the middle, it always is held together. It doesn't. If it's one loop like that, it'll eventually split into two. So it was an interesting take in it, how it all worked with like in universe.
Here's the problem, though. I feel like there
Mobius
is no.
strip. That's what it is.
There is no, and that's why it's called Mobius and TVA. There's no consistent time travel or multiverse method. Every movie started a different one. You had Endgame was the machine that Tony Stark made, and then in Multiverse of Madness, it's fucking America, whatever the fuck, and Scarlet Witch that are opening up these portals from the fucking book. And then you had Spider-Man it was a different spell from Doctor Strange that made this whole other timeline. It was like none of them were the same method. So everything got jumbled up and confused and
right.
Like what were they I don't know. It's like
the only thing that was somewhat consistent
how do you fuck it up?
Like,
how do you fuck it up?
Yeah, the only thing that was somewhat consistent with multiverse was not the method, but that it had to. I mean, it was essentially magical characters were the ones who were doing it.
Well, I think your
characters, Strange and Wanda.
Garrett, I think you're right in that. I think we could go back, like if they just left the Marvel universe alone for a couple of years, say 5 years, and reset and just let a bunch of directors do superhero movies how they want. Yeah, well, you don't have to reset. Just like let 5 or 6 different directors do what they wanted with certain characters. You don't have to tie them together, and stop the TV shows. TV shows are ruining superheroes right now. like, or they have, or like, we don't need 2 or 3 seasons of so and so, or like 10 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No one cares. Just give us a one-off movie that's fun and like I don't know.
Do it like your animated side. Just like the animated movies. I mean, they're all just one-offs for the most part.
I think it comes down to money, and that there's no longer a market for those mid-budget movies like what we had in the 90s because of the streaming rights and all of that. It radically changed their ability to take those chances on those mid-budget movies, though.
Matt Damon was talking about that on Hot Ones. He basically said back in the day, and we all know this is true, when you had physical media, you had your release, you made your money on the release in the theaters. Yeah. But then about 6 to 8 months later, you had a whole nother pool of money come in because, I can now go buy that. And a whole nother pool of money.
Yeah, DVD sales, yeah.
So you can take a chance on a smaller budget movie that it's going to maybe not make its money back in the theater like your cult classics. It's going to eventually make the money on DVD and VHS, that kind of thing. And that is not a thing anymore.
I wish
and
I
the
could
streaming
watch Hot
rights,
Wings,
I don't think.
Disgusting to watch people eat, especially eat something so nasty and just gets all over your face and shit. I can't do it.
It's a dab of sauce. It doesn't get all over your face.
Wipe your mouth, sir.
He sold that for like a ridiculous amount of money too. That show, Hot Ones.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for like a fucking
he's
insane amount of money.
And he's still doing it. So he still gets to do the show, meet all the celebrities, and now he's got more money than he can ever do anything with.
And I just collect a paycheck and not have to worry about running everything. I think I would almost argue that I think the movies have done more. How much?
82.5 million.
Jesus.
On a show where they just eat hot wings
and talk.
It's a good show.
Yeah, but I mean, he also had to have had a ton of connections in Hollywood to be able to pull the people that he was getting into that show. I mean, that's the only reason the show actually worked, is because it was people that some people famous actually wanted to hear from.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it with regular people, but it would be difficult because you'd have to do it so many times with people that are not interesting and don't know how to talk. Yeah. And you hit that one person that is like an amazing, crazy homeless person that has great stories and is able to tell them really well. Like it would be difficult.
But I tried a similar show called Whittle Me This, where I would whittle with a guy, but we were trying to do improv at the same time. And I don't know if you ever tried to whittle before, but that shit, man, it wears out your forearms with a quickness. Was not a good idea.
Like, I feel like it's a story only you would tell.
It was a great name, though. Whittle Me This.
Whittle Me This.
Whittle Me This.
That's a great name. That really is, yeah.
I did put something in the private chat for later whenever we decide to switch.
I was actually going to switch up because I've been wanting to talk about this. I tweeted about it. Everyone's been talking about this to some degree.
Yes, I've touched grass today.
Excellent. Proud of you.
I went to church.
No, the halftime show at the big game at the Super Bowl. Well, there's a couple things. So there's a lot of the ads. I'm sure you guys saw the ads that popped up. We can talk about that. I wanted to get your guys' take on if you guys had watched the halftime show. Like, what'd you think of it? Personally, I was just underwhelmed. Like, I know that Kendrick Lamar is a talented singer, but like compared to years past, I just like, even my wife was like, I'm just like waiting for like the cool people to come out and like a bunch, but that never happened. It really, my overall commentary on it was that people kept saying like, oh, there's a deeper meaning to this. Like, oh, he's based. He's like, he's fighting the system. He's calling out Drake again. And I was like, well, two things. One, this guy used a halftime show to like re-up his beef with Drake.
So gay.
So gay. Diss track again.
Right. And then on top of that, I wanted to like scream at everyone who thought that they were big brained enough to think that he used it to like fight the system. I don't know if anyone knows this, but all of that stuff was pre-approved by a giant mega corporation. Nothing there was,
and that giant mega corporation that he signed to, I'm pretty sure is Jay-Z's label.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z has some of his own issues right now with the Diddy stuff that kind of mirrors Drake.
Some say he has 99 issues, but an island isn't one.
But it might.
I mean, my kids were super excited for it because, again, this is that kind of second underlining, movement of more indie type stuff. Sure, he won a Grammy, but I mean, the guy is basically an unknown to most of the country. But he's big on TikTok and Instagram. He's a mumble rapper that does diss tracks. I don't know what the appeal was to 98% of the country during the halftime show.
I was commenting real quick about the mumble stuff. I was even making fun of it.
He's huge.
He's not a mumble rapper. It was an audio issue. They had the mic way too low.
No, it wasn't. You stop.
No, it wasn't.
That fucking weirdo.
It was. That was my critique. My critique was like his vocal volume was not loud enough compared to the other mix. Like the mix was wrong. It was a bad mix.
Was it? Because it was me, my wife,
not
and her
mumble
sister.
rapping. Mumble rapping is a completely.
No, he's not a mumble rapper.
I just couldn't understand him. I could understand every other word or every fifth word or so, and I was like, why is he singing like this? Like this kind of sucks.
Audio.
Okay, I'll believe you guys. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, like people
I don't
you
know.
have here,
I don't
you
listen
kinda
to
have
his
to at this point.
stuff, but he does pronounce things a little weird. So maybe it's just kind of like how he pronounces some words. It's not necessarily mumbling, but it's
How
just
does he
like
pronounce it?
It's the Ebonics, maybe.
The way that Mad pronounces words.
He's from isn't he from the South? He's from Alabama, I think. Hold on. I might be completely off on that.
I'll say this though, DNA is legit. That's an awesome fucking track.
Yeah, I don't know his songs, and I don't even understand the beef with Drake. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know any of that, but I just thought like, and then he brings Serena Williams out there, and she's crip walking, even though she's married to the whitest guy on the fucking.
And her sister
may or may not have been
killed by.
Yeah.
And her sister
I think it's
may or
funny.
may not have been killed by Crips.
It's a funny thing, but it's also like, why this song for the halftime show? It's like, I don't know. You like this. You have the moment where you're playing on the stage of of America, the halftime show of the fucking Super Bowl, and you pick a beef song. I don't know. It was a weird choice.
I just find it funny that they keep doing this stuff at halftime. And then what you've got coming out of every commercial break is stuff like half of the crowd singing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" and "Sweet Caroline."
No, what was even best was when they came back and they were doing "Proud to Be an American."
Yeah,
like that.
Don't you see what's going on? I was going to say this next. You see what's going on, right? And I also tweeted about this too, but you guys don't read my Twitter feed. It's fine. This is what's going to happen over the next 4 years.
If I'm
this is what happened. This is what's going to happen over the next 4 years. Now that Trump's in office, the left is going to start to they're going to start trying to take back the flag and patriotism and pretend as if they were all about it all along.
You mean the left?
This is exactly what I mean. That's why Sam Jackson's up there as Uncle Sam. That's why they're all in red, white, and blue making they wouldn't have done that. All they do is make fun of the
Great
right
White Hype.
Huh?
So that was his character from The Great White Hype, which is an amazing movie if you haven't seen it. It's where he plays the Don King. He plays the Don King type boxing promoter. And that was basically what he did for the halftime show.
Well, yeah, okay.
I will say though, over this whole Kendrick Lamar thing, the fucking right's reaction was the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Yeah,
this isn't music. We have real music. Like, okay, it's not your music, but it is legitimately really popular, and it's not even trash. It's like there could be way worse rappers up there singing way worse fucking songs. Kendrick Lamar is actually pretty talented. He's lyrically he's really great. Like he was a legit artist to put up there.
Agreed.
I don't like the song choice, but like to say this isn't music, it was the boomerest cringe shit that the right has done in like the last 8 years.
Which is why when the halftime show came on, I went out and I ran 2 Path of Exile 2 maps and then went back in to hang out with the family afterwards because it was not my music.
That's fine. It's just like they made it such a weird political statement, and it was like one person said it and then another person said it, and then they all were just like echoing each other and going, yeah, we all hate this. Oh, well, it's not music. This is so un-American. We're like, they made it a political thing. It's like, God dang, what does everything have to be political?
Right.
Maybe you just don't like the music. It's fine.
Like, my boy
I've said that about rap forever, mostly just to get a rise.
Yeah, my boy Still Abdul was ripping apart all of those comments for like 2 days.
Dude, it was embarrassing.
Yeah, Benny Johnson, I saw his and I was like, dude, what are you doing?
The right
Sit
just
this
can't
one
help
out.
themselves but to be old. You know what I mean?
They cannot.
They make so many wins, then they'll be like, I'd rather have George Strait. You know, like what? No one even knows who George Strait is anymore.
The actor that played one of the brothers in Gremlins, or not Gremlins, Goonies. He did a video and he was like, what happened to the jazz? We should have had jazz. All the great jazz musicians, where the jazz music at? We got to listen to this mumbly mouth guy. Get the jazz. I'm like, bro, we are so many decades away from having jazz. I love jazz. I like me some saxophone.
Was it a bit?
I know it was
like
real.
An amazing bit.
It was real. He wanted a freeform jazz fucking quartet or something up there. Like that's not gonna happen.
One's happy.
Oh yeah, we can all be miserable together. Come on.
It was like just so bizarre.
You're tapping your foot. And you're like, oh wait, no, they changed it. Hold on, shit, I can't find the rhythm because it's jazz.
It's whatever you want.
That's acid jazz.
Well, was he only saying that because it was in New Orleans?
Right.
I mean, I think that's probably the reason he was saying. I mean, because New Orleans is kind of famous for it.
Yeah, Harry Connick, he was there.
He's always there.
Man. I think he actually has a tent in the visitor end zone at the Superdome because he's at every game, at every event.
He sleeps in the replay booth, replay tent thing.
I'm sure you guys saw the ad for that essentially Ozempic ad that
the Hims and Hers?
The Hims and Hers ad for
I didn't see this.
Okay, so the gist of it is they had this awesome ad to start that was like, America's obese, like we have an eating problem, blah blah, like it was saying all the right things, right? And then suddenly RFK. they were like don't, we have a problem with like all these like medications we take, and then it was like, okay, but take our medication
with one pill.
It's a cheaper Ozempic, and we'll send it right to your door for us. And then you go and like research it, and it's not approved.
Meanwhile, multiple people on Ozempic are claiming to be going blind.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
But this shit is
from the UK.
But this Hims and Her shit is holistic medicine, though. Did y'all see that?
No.
Well, that's what that company's always been. I mean, they've been sending out the little purple pill in generic form since it became eligible to be generic, and that's what they've been advertising on Twitter and Facebook forever.
They did that too.
They do all of that stuff, man.
They do everything. Yeah. Outside of
was originally just for hair loss and ED, and they've branched out into everything.
I saw too that like there's a guy talking about how Ozempic has been linked to
blindness.
Well, blindness. Not only that, but like
making
people have been losing
uglier.
weight, but they've also been losing like lean mass from like their muscles and bones.
Yeah,
like it's not like it's not.
That's why there's a thing called Ozempic face.
Now, is Ozempic, does the way it work? It just suppresses your appetite so you don't eat, or is it actively
that's
turning something like something in your body to start eating?
It was originally for diabetics. That's what the medicine is actually for, is to get your blood sugar under control and to suppress the appetite to a degree. It's like back in the 90s when everybody was doing speed to lose weight.
Fenton?
Yeah. What I can't remember what it was called, but something close to that.
Could you describe it to me? Are there people that you could talk to get this? I just want to know.
I got you. Go to the doctor, say you can't concentrate. You're not interested in your hobbies anymore, and like, oh, you have ADHD. Here's some amphetamines. Golden.
Yeah, King's right. Turns out that people taking it when they aren't diabetic is an issue.
Yeah. Turns out.
It says Ozempic works by mimicking naturally occurring hormone called GLP-1, which signals the body to produce more insulin when blood sugar levels rise, effectively lowering blood sugar levels. It also slows down stomach emptying, creating a feeling of fullness and reducing appetite, leading to potential weight loss as a side effect.
Aha. So what?
Meanwhile, half the people that are on it are diarrheaing for like the first 8 months that they're taking it.
Jesus.
Like nonstop. You can't go out of your house because it's like irritable bowel syndrome. You eat one thing and you're on the toilet.
And Adderall has the opposite effect where you can't go to the toilet.
Sorry, Garrett, I interrupted.
No, I don't think I can say anything. We were having a conversation about this today, me and Dave, while we were making the show. We were talking about the holistic, like you just said, the holistic stuff. And it's like, it's interesting because a lot of that stuff ends up kind of working. Like the stuff that's like, you know, like condensed cinnamon extract and shit, like it can do stuff. And it's funny how they've demonized all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
To the point and make it seem like, oh, you must be rubbing crystals between your nipples and shit because you think it helps your chakras or whatever. You know, like they made it seem really crazy to be like, yeah, what if I just use like a mineral? It's like, no, you're just fucking insane.
So I literally like I was I had my licenses with the state of Texas to manufacture CBD products for a long time, right? The very first CBD strand was specifically designed for a little girl named Charlotte who had grand mal seizures. And this girl was having like 10 a day, right?
Yeah, Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, Charlotte's Web, right?
That's what my buddies from high school who developed it. The Stanley brothers all went to high school with me.
Damn.
That's fucking awesome. But like now, like I literally like I was in Walmart like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that. And I saw a kid had a seizure, right? Like in front of me. Yeah. And I even asked the parents, I was like, have you guys ever thought about like trying CBD with him or anything like that? And they're like, oh, well, our doctors warned us against that because they don't know what kind of negative side effects it can have.
Because they're not making money. That's why.
Exactly. Because they can come to me and buy that shit for $30 a bottle and it lasts them a month versus having to spend $500 on whatever bullshit pills the pharmaceutical companies are cranking out. So I'm totally with it. Fuck that shit. I will find anything holistic first before I try any of their bullshit.
And what we were talking, it kind of came to mind, snake oil salesman, right? That phrase, snake oil. It's the same thing that they did to conspiracy theorists. They said they made it a funny thing or a dismissive thing when snake oil itself is actually a medicinal product. You can use it to alleviate certain stuff. Like it's like proven to work. So snake oil did work. But then there were people that started making fake snake oil,
right,
or making fake claims about it.
Yeah, and then they used the word snake oil. It's like synonymous with woo-woo crap that doesn't actually do anything. So
we all saw Pete's Dragon.
You destroyed it, and then you can replace it with your pharmaceuticals. The shit that I make synthetic, and you can pay me for it.
It didn't help that you had the goat nad doctor, the one that was like, oh, you can't get your wife pregnant? Here, let me put goat nuts inside of your testicle bag. That's a real thing that happened. We may do him next week on Matapap. Anyway.
That's all medieval. That's literally all medieval science was. What are you talking about?
This was in Kansas. He also ran for mayor of New Mexico or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So they just found out that gold nanoparticles helps with weight loss as well. They were studying it in rats, and now they're trying to move it into the humans. Yeah.
People are going to start eating their earrings and shit now.
Well, it has to be nano.
Well, it's like the silver treatments and stuff like that people used to use for like certain skin diseases and stuff. That's
burns. The silverite or whatever it was called. I had that one, after I was burned, and man, it burnt like a motherfucker because it's like these silver like straps or strips. Yeah. And then you put it onto the burn or whatever, and then you got to soak it down, and it gets it's rough. But a lot of that stuff helps with a lot of minerals help in ways that people just won't recognize until rats are cured from obesity, and now they're like gold nanoparticles. So we'll be getting that soon.
It's odd because like even like the healthiest forms of eating have been like demonized by like essentially big pharma propaganda, and it's like, oh, you're gonna eat clean, oh, you're fucking weirdo. It's like, what? Like, Like, I'm just not going to go eat a bunch of processed food. Oh, that's so weird. Like, it's just easy to do. Like, yeah, but it kind of goes back to the whole like some of the best things in life for you, like, take a little time and you have patience. And like people, like nowhere in that ad with the, like, along with the Ozempic, did they say, go outside and like work out and like walk 10,000 steps a day. It was like, oh, just continue taking more medication that's not approved. Like,
yeah,
fuck, like, you know. And again, you can't tell someone to work out without it being like a side eye, like, oh,
take in less calories than you burn.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket
science. The ads usually make it look like the only way to be active is if you take this drug.
Yeah,
it's I wouldn't be out here riding my bicycle with my wife if it wasn't for, you know, Zickalikapacan that you can ask your doctor about.
Right.
You know, it's like, what if I just did that instead?
Hold on.
I would be screwing everything that moved if I didn't have this medicine that suppressed my herpes and AIDS.
Dude, and honestly, I'm really hoping RFK does ban like pharmaceutical ads in the United States because let me be honest. Okay, besides the fact that they obviously use the money to influence the media and all of that kind of shit, right, and take control of that, so nobody talks bad about them. But like, has anybody ever like saw one of those ads and went, you know what, I'm gonna go to the doctor and ask about my doctor about that? Has anybody ever fucking done that? I want to know legitimately. Like, what the fuck?
Actually, a lot of doctors say that people do that, along with looking on WebMD to find out what disease they have, just from what WebMD says is the worst thing that could possibly happen.
That's how I found out. You've always got cancer.
Let me take this antidepressant that may cause suicidal thoughts.
Yep. Yeah. Well, at least you won't have depression anymore. But WebMD is how I found out I was black, because I was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. I was like, well, that proves it. I'm black.
I remember it was like a year and a half ago. I brought it up on this show. It was like, it was an ad for something that was to fight depression, but one of the side effects was worse depression,
severe depression,
suicidal thoughts, and it was like, what,
dude? Almost every
Look, you're not going to have regular depression anymore. If that's the consolation.
It's going to be depression squared.
It's super duper depression.
You take this pill and either you get better or you end it.
Yeah, like
literally every one of the antidepressant commercials, they're always like, could cause a chance of suicide. It's like, what? Like,
we're gonna put you in the express lane.
We're gonna send you right to Canada, buddy.
Oh my god.
The sad thing is, I don't think we're gonna be able to stop those ads because of free speech, or it would have to be an act of Congress in order to get rid of all those ads.
You got to get rid of the lobbyists. The lobbyists are the biggest problems, because they have the Congress people in their back pocket. They get so much money. It's insane. Like, it'll take, and this is the problem with everything. Trump and the Maha movement and all that is going to be a great start to everything. The issue is unless we're in the middle or the beginning of a Republican revolution, where you're going to see like maybe Vance get elected next term or someone else, like, this is all going away as soon as the next person takes over.
Not if Congress does its job and actually makes laws instead of executive orders. I mean, the executive orders are the Band-Aid. The Congress has to actually go in and do things.
But if you justice needs to start doing something too.
Just real quick on Congress.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
If you notice, all the senators just kind of fell in line, except for Mitch McConnell. The second Doge went in and started looking at all the books, all the senators fell in line, and they're like, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, she's through.
Yeah.
Kash Patel is going to get through. I mean, they now have the lever to pull against the senators to do these things.
Gotcha,
bitch. You know where your bodies are buried, motherfucker.
2 years from now, if Trump's agenda continues to succeed and things go in a positive direction, if in the midterms we get even more Republicans put into office, then I think we're going to probably see a lot more changes coming towards like the end of Trump's term.
The problem is it's going to be more painful before it gets better.
Right. Oh yeah, always.
Because doing a lot of the things that he's doing to try to reset the course, it's not going to bring the grocery prices down immediately. No. I mean, we know what the promises were. I think we're all happy with what is being done. yeah, it would be nice if prices got back down. But once we actually bring on like pipelines and produce oil again, those are the things that are going to affect the prices at the grocery stores and whatnot. But it's going to take a little while for it to happen. And you're going to have the constant pushback, kind of like the eggs thing. I mean, since 2022, we culled 145 million chickens. Yep. Of course, eggs are freaking expensive because there are no egg producing chickens for about 6 to 8 months from the time that you did the major culling. I mean, they just put down what 100 million in November. This is the result of that, but nobody's patient enough to actually look at that.
I think though, like now more than ever, I think people are like know that we're going to be going through rough patches. Like I think they know Trump's not going to be able to fix everything right away.
Did you just highlight your own message?
Mm-hmm.
Right, right, and that's the point of attack, though, for the left is
for sure
he's not getting it done.
But Trump is able to attack them with all of this USAID stuff, and I think that if the fact that the right has ammo for themselves right now to go after the left is going to be like, it's going to be definitely hard for them to kind of snap back. Like,
if they continue to run on, well, I mean, Congress gave this money to people, so it has to be spent this way. That's not a winning argument for them because every time he comes out with every time Doge comes out with another thing that says, we just sent $50 million in condoms, or we tried to, and I guess it wasn't to Gaza as originally reported, but to somewhere in Africa. It's like, sure. Trying to help Africa with their AIDS problem is a thing that keeps Africa on our side instead of China's side. But at the same time, why are we paying so much to every other country? We are the superpower. China.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do we give a fuck what side Africa is on?
There's a lot of motherfuckers over there. That's why.
Yeah.
The ability to mine rare earth minerals from Africa.
Which we have, which we can do plenty of throughout like the United States and Alaska. And if we take over Canada, all of that stuff too. Problem is nobody just wants to do it in the United States because it's too damn expensive because of all the EPA regulations. They go over and do it in Africa.
Like North Carolina, they will try a buyout on all those people because they live on a gigantic load of lithium. Yeah. So I mean, you have property rights in America.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why they go to Africa, because they can get cheap labor and they can abuse the shit out of the system and just strip mine it to for cheap as shit. That's why electric cars are a horrible fucking idea.
And politicians can launder money through all of these other countries.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's all Ukraine is money laundering. We all know that.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Money laundering and biolabs.
NGOs are another thing that are a real problem now because they're like
if
tracking
you're taking
money.
any donations from the government, you're not a NGO.
No, I know. The problem is they're able to siphon it through so many intermediaries, and that's you can't really track it once it gets through them, and because they're not directly funding them. But it's like, no, you are like, it's just, it went through 3 other things first.
I did a video,
which is money laundering.
I did a video today over an investigation that WW Pro had been doing on Disney. Turns out they have taken $20 million of taxpayer money, 14 million of it from the DOD, and like another 6 million for a documentary in Africa to combat like climate responsibility. And IMDb is not even sure if the thing ever got released. But the $14 million from the DOD, we have no idea where it went to other than a shell company that's website leads to a defunct Disney.com website. So yeah,
brilliant, perfect.
There you go, Shags. Bring up that tweet and it'll give you the cycle.
Probably the same one I talked about.
Jesse, will you bring that up? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Private chat.
It's just weird, man, because like I think there are some people that are waking up to what Doge is doing is a good thing. But now you have Elon, what is it called? EDS. You have EDS and TDS, right? Like
Oh, Elon derangement syndrome.
Yeah,
Elon's
I mean,
the actual president.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
like they don't understand that like what he's doing is a benefit to everybody. Like they're not just going like
Not to them.
Yeah,
Not to the people that make money off
Not
all
to the
this.
people
That's
taking
right.
no,
this
but
money.
I'm saying like my friend who's a liberal who keeps tweeting how Elon's a fucking retard or whatever.
That's a
It's like, well,
dumbass.
no, I know that. But like President Harry Bowles, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ponder, if you will.
Dude,
Big
you got
balls.
CNN to say Harry Balls.
Ponder
I
big
love
balls
this
for me.
timeline. I love this timeline.
Did
All
you
right,
see
I would
well,
say
the,
this. I love. I look. I respect the tenacity of MSNBC because they're fucking insane and they've been wrong.
They're sticking to
And
it.
they're sticking to it, man. I appreciate that. Those are some principles.
I mean, yeah,
at
they're
least
not
it's
learning any lessons.
No lessons
Yeah,
at
at
all.
least
That's amazing.
All right, so check this out. So this is what this says. Number one, government-funded NGO gets a USAID. It's what it's supposed to. That's what the acronym's supposed to be. Is USAID grant for something vague like strengthening education. That NGO dumps millions into DAF, donor advised fund. The DAF isn't required to disclose what the NGO told them to do with the money, but somehow every hyper-political nonprofit with a sketchy agenda ends up getting funded. Kind of like we found out that the federal government funded a bunch of mobile games with a woke agenda, and they've been doing it since like 2012. Yeah, that was one of the fun things we found out from Doge too. Weird. I wonder if Sweet Baby ain't got any money from the federal government.
I wonder.
Did you guys see the report that Big Balls is starting his own department? It's Tax Evaluation and Bureau for Accountable Government. So Big Balls is founding the Department of Teabag.
I love it.
Great.
I love this.
Fucking love this.
It's great.
Glorious.
You know what it is?
Live.
This is what happened. Elon and Trump both pulled the veil back on performative politics, right? The past 20 years, it's just been a show. And they just went like this, lifted the mask, and he's got his kid in there. The kid's telling Trump to fuck off or whatever.
Picking his nose and wiping it on the Resolute desk.
Oh, no.
I love it. I love that stuff because it's real.
Yeah.
But it's also
It's humanizing.
Yeah.
we're finally seeing kids back in public. I mean, JD Vance's kids have been everywhere. Elon's kid is everywhere. It's like normalizing family again.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a
great
good
visual
thing.
message. Yeah.
I like
as
that
long as they keep the
comparison.
wipe
Somebody
in the
was showing
bag.
right. I like that comparison of the Kennedy picture with the boy underneath the desk and the way they were doing, because you're right. That's a perfect example, Rama. They're putting family back in the forefront of the image again. And
Think
I
about
love
it.
that.
Anytime that we had kids around before, did it ever feel genuine? Like they were actually kids there? Or they were standing there.
Did.
Yeah, it was it's always like
Smallest
standing there
stepdaughter looked
stiff,
real
ready for-
natural.
all of
Biden
the
was smelling them.
kids biting on them. They're these weird unnatural pageantry things where we bring a group of family in and here's my daughter, take a sniff, walk away. Next one. It was, but this, JD Vance is he's talking and his kids are running around because they're kids and they're naturally whatever. And like Elon's got him up on his shoulders, or he's sitting there and he's just kind of discussing things like a human man would, and not this weird facade of pageantry, like you were saying earlier, this performativeness that's just fake, and nobody likes that anymore. Like it's an interesting time to be alive because it is like a revolution of authenticity and of like people just being like, fuck all this fakeness. Like we were pretending that this was reality when it wasn't this whole time, and we're kind of done with that. We're moved on.
The government's being run by meme right now. Does anyone understand like how insane that is? Like 10 years ago, no one would have thought that was going to be happening. Now we have an agency named Doge. But
it's an agency that has pulled the veil back, like you said, and has done the adult thing, which is hilarious. The most adult person in the room right now is Doge.
Big Balls.
Yes.
Big Balls.
Yes, big balls.
Like
Big
the
Balls
inversion of that
and
is
Harry.
amazing. The people
Did
that
you
have been pretending to be the adults in the room were the children lying to us.
I don't want to bring the image up, but there was someone complaining about like Elon parading his kid up there, and in the
Saying
news,
that he's
and,
using them as a shield.
But then someone retweeted it and goes, and was like, "Oh, really? Is this like what about this?" And they retweeted that bald guy in the dress, and then the granny with the boots in the rose garden.
We did it, Joe. We did it, Joe.
Yeah.
But
Or
I mean,
Surgeon General.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, but the other thing that's going on is finally there's somebody in the White House in the vice president selection that is not a freaking boomer. That's why there are kids around, because we have not done anything but select the boomer generation for the past 20 to 30 years. And finally, there's a millennial in there. Sure, once again, Gen X just gets skipped over for everything.
As they should.
But did you get for being this big?
But I mean, you've got Elon and JD Vance both. Elon may be Gen X. Vance is definitely a millennial. I don't know how old Elon is. I think he's close to 50.
What's Vance?
I'm not
30?
sure.
Is he 40, 41?
No, he's like 30.
Vance is like 38
or something. Yeah.
Am I older than Vance?
He's my age. Shit, he's my age.
So yeah, he's millennial right down the middle. So
yeah, but it's bringing youth back into the White House and into the politics a little bit, because how many times do we see freaking Maxine Waters, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi? It's a whole bunch of 90-year-olds running the freaking country.
I know JD Vance said that he does not want to run because how horrible the campaign was. I hope he sees how important it is, and that you know what I mean? He does it because he feels as though he has to.
Because he does
to continue.
I think he has to, because he was hand selected by Trump to be the successor.
I think a lot more Republican, like I don't want to say activists, but I think there's a lot of more young Republicans that sort of came over from the Democrat side that I think could find a lot more success. I mean, you see a lot of these guys like on TikTok who've been like fact checking a lot of the left stuff and or going on to like those panels where it's like 12 conservatives and a liberal, or vice versa, and they're
Jubilee
trying
type crap.
Yeah, the Jubilee stuff. Yeah, like there's a lot more of those people who are like, for lack of a better term, like not so closeted anymore, that they're just like sort of out and like, I don't care what people think anymore. This is retarded. I'm sick of pretending like I don't actually believe that some of my values are conservative. That's okay. So I think there's some hope for the future in like getting younger people into these positions. Maybe Vance is a good step forward in that way. It's tough though. You need young blood in Congress. Like that is where a lot of this stuff happens. I mean, it's where most of the stuff happens. Most of this change is going to happen. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, to propel a party, yes, you need the young blood in there. I mean, they're propelling the exact wrong way, but look at what AOC has been managing to do with the squad on the left.
Is that
they've pushed them so far left?
Yeah, there's some left.
That's the thing, is like, I don't think it worked for them. I think they overreached.
It didn't work for
what
them.
They did is all the boomers, like you said, like the Bernie Sanders and the fucking Elizabeth Warrens and all these fucking boomers were like, we need to get the young vote. So let's to the Democratic Party. And they let them run amok for a little while. And that's what's put them in this position right now. All the way down, because they let these communists in and they pushed them so far to the left, and they didn't do anything to go like, maybe we're not that far down the left, but they just went along with it because they were like, this is the kids. These are what the kids think. But it turned out that that was not what the kids were thinking. And when push comes to shove, red lines don't seem that great. So I think most people were just rejected it. So now their squad is kind of, I mean, I barely hear from these squad members. It used to be like they were huge in the Democratic Party. Like they were the next, AOC is going to be the next, but it's kind of all that energy has gone away.
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of people that like AOC. I remember hearing like a lot of people who voted for AOC voted for Trump because they felt like Trump, even though they like AOC, they felt like Trump was a better option over.
That's wild.
Kamala.
It's kind of like the weird.
It's
move
Kamala.
Kamala.
It's kind of like the weird move for the Bernie Sanders voters and for the say the Young Turks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Anna Kasparian is becoming more and more based each day. She's never going to not be a progressive. Yeah. Well,
she's being
I take that back.
Killed.
She's starting to become more of a classical liberal than a progressive leftist.
Which I think
that is pulling the country back to the center.
Yeah, I think she was probably a progressive leftist the whole time, and was just being drug along this communist far left agenda, and just didn't say anything because they were like, the enemy is the right, so they were just focusing in that direction and not focusing on like maybe communism isn't the direction we should be going for the Progressive Party.
Well, that and getting sexually assaulted and then being told that you were the issue. I mean, that can that
would wake you up.
That'll wake you up a little bit, because it was also, you know, she was a racist for saying that was happening, and it was two white guys.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like the Rittenhouse thing, where everybody on the left believes that, you know, he shot two black guys. No,
and then she watched the footage and was like, okay, I was wrong about the Kyle Rittenhouse shit.
But the exact same thing happened to her. Because everybody was like, oh, well, you're just being racist. That, you know, two black homeless guys tried to SA you. And she was like, yeah, but they were white. They weren't black, so it's not anything to do with race. You guys are just bringing intersectionality into it. And this is exactly the problem with the left.
Yeah.
I think we had a perfect storm of the left fucking up royally and the right being at the right person at the right time to be able to like put all those pieces together. Because like if Trump went into the second election the same way he went into the first one, with it was like a very right only policy, and in this one it was like a coalition of people that were just kind of disenfranchised.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was the perfect opportunity to take the fuck ups of the left and go, well, hey guys, it's not just all us on the right. Like, you're invited too. Like, RFK Jr., get over here.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi, get over here. Like, you're a sane person. You're on this side.
Do you guys?
You brown guy, you want to do FBI shit? You come in here.
Yeah, get in here.
Well, and it's just, I think what it is, it's common sense taking the reins again. Because that's what it is. It's just a bunch of common sense people who have a bunch of screaming cultist psychopaths, you know, beating everybody's walls. And the rest of us are just going, can we just get along and like try to make things a little bit better? And they're like, no, everything has to burn. And it's like, you even have people like Tulsi Gabbard going, this is stupid. This is retarded. This is not how things should work. So yeah, it's just a coalition of common sense.
Do you guys think that Trump would have been able to do all this stuff had he been elected in his second term, or did we need to go through 4 years of hell?
No,
4 years of hell.
The first 4 years was him not knowing how politics actually worked, because he was never a politician. The worst thing that the Democrats could possibly have done was what they did in the 2020 election, and then the lawfare, because the lawfare is what brought together this coalition, because they were also like Tulsi Gabbard. They put her on, you know, a watch list. RFK, he's still a liberal. I mean, not a leftist, but a liberal. And Trump will listen to him. But Trump now knows exactly who he has to surround himself with, because the first time went so bad. If he had done a straight 8 years, it would not have worked.
Yeah.
He would not have been able to implement 90% of what he's going to try to do in this 4 years, because the wrong people were there. He learned his lesson,
and
they made it more powerful than ever.
Yeah. And he wouldn't have had the support. I think he has way more support now because of the 4 years of hell.
Yeah.
Now that he can get stuff done and people will listen, because they're like, holy shit, we went the other way and that was the wrong way to go. So what do you got? Because it's got to be better, you know?
Right.
So,
Well, I think that
doing that.
all of that put a fire into him too, you know, with what happened in 2020 and then 4 years of the lawfare and everything else. He's like, I'm going scorched earth. Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
We're done with this bullshit. We're going to go in here. We're going to set the whole damn place on fire. We're going to rip everybody's doors open. We're going to pull your pants down and show exactly what you're fucking working with. And we're not taking any names anymore, because before it seemed like he was trying to play nice, right? He was listening to the GOP and he was going, okay, I'll take these advisors and I'll take these people and I'll listen to them. And now, after basically getting screwed over for the last 4 to 6 years, he's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that shit anymore. I'm pulling in all my own people. And yeah, we're just, and because like, I think that's one of the things that was revealed too, because we were talking about this earlier, where because like I've been to like a congressional session and stuff like that, like in Missouri and things like that, and everything's very prim and proper and everything's very formal, and you know, you've got your rules of the Senate and your rules of the House and the way you have to do things, right? So they live on this I guess ritual of how their rules. Yeah, they're parliamentary rules, but it's the ritual of all of it, right? And the ritual of all of that makes them feel superior to everybody else, because they're in there with their fancy suits and they're in their very ties and, you know, their bow ties, and they can't wear hats in the Capitol and they can't wear, you know. And so it's like, and then you have somebody coming in who's walking in to the white Oval Office in the White House in like black jeans, a black t-shirt, and a black just kind of throw over blazer with a ball cap on. And he's going, yeah, by the way, I'm going to audit all your shit. And that broke all of their brains. And it did. It pulled back the guys of, these are the adults in the room. No, we only thought they were the adults in the room because we thought that that's the adult things that they were supposed to do. They were supposed to wear suits. They were supposed to go through all this procedure. They're supposed to do all this other stuff. And I found out it was just a big corrupt bunch of bullshit. And like Shag said, they were the children all along. They're the petty crybabies who were using this farce of elitism, aristocracy, you know, the all of their rules and rituals and all that kind of stuff that made them seem superior. And it turns out, no, they were just a bunch of fucking scumbags the entire time.
Yep.
But there was one other thing. There was one other thing that changed Trump and changed people's view on him. It was getting shot.
Several, yeah. And then several more attempts afterwards.
I don't even want to necessarily get into this, because who knows like what would happen YouTube wise, like, but it's a question I thought about. Like with all the shit, like I feel like we haven't seen something like this since like JFK, like really starting to like push the system a bit.
Yeah.
And like, it makes me think that like something like that could happen again. Maybe not, but like I don't want it to. Obviously,
if he starts flirting with, you know, starting to open up about aliens in the ships that we have, you better look out.
Dude, I can't wait.
Well, and remember the last time the Pentagon got audited, 9/11 happened like the day after.
Yep.
That they were supposed to release a report.
And that's one of those things, like, trust me, as a guy that's been in the military and worked for DOD contractors, like, I can't wait till they crack open those things, because you want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. Holy cow, the DOD is rife with it.
Yeah, I was blown up in a Bradley. I know all about the waste in the military. Fucking
Well,
they wasted a good tanker, man.
Like 1% of what they're finding in USAID is what they'll find in the Pentagon. I mean,
oh yeah,
the Pentagon is got so much money just being thrown around for nothing. Like I can't remember, I think it was Bongino I was listening to. It's like, you know, you're gonna have Doge go in and they're gonna be like, why are we still paying for hang gliders from, you know, basically like G.I. Joe style missions because they saw it on a cartoon? Oh, well, it's because it's in this congressman's district. We don't actually use the hang gliders, but the manufacturing plant's there. Cut. Congressman's going to be pissed. But the Pentagon is so full of wasteful spending to the point that USAID is going to look like a joke once they go into the Pentagon.
For sure. Shags, you want me to pull up with this little thing he had here?
Yeah. I think Parrot had sent it to me. The USAspending.gov.
Yeah, this is right in line with what we've been talking about.
It's so the only thing that makes me think like why is the government so dumb? Right? Like you would think that they would try and hide some of this stuff, because I mean, look how it's labeled under the description: active social engineering defense, large scale social deception. Like,
it's arrogance, Shags. It's arrogance. They never thought anybody, because you got to think about how long they've been doing this. They've been getting away with this for half a century. They never thought anybody would ever challenge them because they're the big dogs on the bill. Presidents come and go. Politicians come and go. The administrative state is forever. They literally had the arrogance of decades where they were untouchable. And now somebody's coming in and touching them.
It's wild. Like,
yeah, this is the swamp. It's the bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why they had no problem labeling stuff like this, which makes me wonder what the hell was the DOD giving Disney if they weren't even willing to label it, but they had no problem doing it right here with Reuters going, yeah, of course we spent $100 million making sure they sent out propaganda. You know,
look at that start date. It says 2018. I mean, they probably felt like they can get away with it because, I mean, it's 2005 and we're just finding out about something that was back in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's like nobody really goes on these websites and looks at like what we're spending our money on because like we just assume that the government's doing what's best for us.
And think about what year that is, 2018.
Yep.
This is peak internal deep state trying to fight against Trump. So what are they doing? They're funneling money to Reuters to put out a bunch of fucking misinformation and bullshit out into the world. That's
but not only that, Garrett, but what started a year later?
COVID.
Yeah, a year later, we were all being
an extreme censorship of us on YouTube.
Oh,
because all the other things didn't work. All the piss dossier and all that bullshit and the Russia, none of that shit worked. So they were like, a fucking Order 66.
Release the hounds.
Release the common cold.
Yes. And scare everybody in the fucking world.
Yeah.
That'll do it. And that only made it worse for them. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that backfired like a motherfucker. And I think, it's one of those things is, God blesses us even in the dark times because everybody thought COVID was such a horrible thing. Think about how many people it woke up, right?
Oh, yeah.
We thought getting Joe Biden getting reelected, we thought that was the end of the fucking world, right? How many more people woke up because fucking Joe Biden was president for 4 years and how fucking stagnant and shithole everything's been for the last fucking 4 years. So all of it's a blessing in disguise.
It all unfolds as it should.
Everything for the glory of God.
A weird thing looking back at COVID for me is like, I remember hearing like there's like this sickness going around back in early January. And I was like, because it wasn't until like February that really things like hit the ground running. And it was like, if something was like, I feel like if like a sickness was like really that bad, it would have just like been a sudden thing and there would have been like a sudden reaction to it. But it's like, it was a real slow buildup. I was like, looking back at it now, it's like, you would think something like, if it was like that bad of a thing, it would have been like more of like a sudden reaction and less of this like whole buildup to COVID. For like,
I think my son was in the hospital in December of 2019.
Yeah.
With a really, they didn't know they were like, oh, something's going wrong. It's not pneumonia. It's not this. And like, he was really young at the time. He was still under a year old because he was born in 2019. So but he was on, like, they had the little nose cannula and everything just because he was, his oxygen was low. They didn't say COVID at the time, but they were like, oh yeah, something's going around and we don't really know what it is. And I was like, And then sure enough, 3 months later.
So in November and December, my wife and I we both had something that had never put us down like this. Like we were going to the office and so she was working for me at the time. We're the only two people in the office. Like we were taking turns taking naps, 2-hour naps just to get through the workday because we couldn't close down our business, but it lasted for a month and a half.
I'll say this. I'm going to knock on wood. Either the girlfriend and I never got it once, or it was so light we didn't notice we had it and thought maybe it was allergies, but never had it the entire time.
That happened for.
It can knock you on your ass if you got it, but it was still just, it would knock you on your ass. I feel bad for my friends who did die. I had 2 people who died because they were ventilated.
Oh, yeah. So
the second they put you on the ventilator, it was a death sentence.
It was pretty much a 50-50 shot.
What was really weird, my wife almost did die. She had pneumonia. She got pneumonia. So we were both sick. We both had COVID. It was pretty knocked us down, but I got back up, after about the week or whatever. But she didn't. She just got worse and worse and worse. And we took her to the hospital. And we're like, hey, like she can't breathe. She's having severe trouble like sleeping without like stopping, not getting oxygen. And they were like, it's just you're just sick. It's the COVID. It's fine. Just go home. What? We had to go back to the ER like 3 times before they actually treated him, which was the weirdest thing because at the time, COVID was the most important thing ever, and we're stopping the whole world to try and treat this COVID thing. But now my wife actually has it, and you don't find out that she has pneumonia until 3 times in because you keep pushing them off. It's like what? It's such a weird mixed message.
But it was also they were never trying to treat it.
They
were trying to Operation Warp Speed, which was one of Trump's worst ideas ever.
Yeah. No, don't
but he was misled by Birx and Fauci the whole time. I mean, not making excuses for Trump. I mean, he still will occasionally tout Operation Warp Speed, but yes, it was the fastest they were ever able to do anything. But was the thing that they did good? No.
He was caught in an impossible situation. The only way to court favor with anyone was to push that, but also, keep trying to keep Fauci in check by saying this guy's a fucking asshole, so.
Well, and if you want to really put your tinfoil hat on for a second, there is a report from October of 2019 when the World War Games were going on. They were going on in Wuhan, China. There was a bunch of our military over there, our high-end generals and all of the rest of these people. Mysteriously, on their way back home, many of them got sick with a very unusual cold that the majority of them got over very quickly because, well, guess what? They're in the military and they're top peak health fit conditions for the most part because, hey, this ain't the old days. We don't have fat generals anymore. That doesn't happen. And, but yeah, weird how we had issues with that all the way back in October of 2019. And I don't know. Maybe who knows? Just saying. Weird coincidence that happened with the international war games. Just weird coincidence.
Okay, I don't a weird turn tonight.
You're right. I don't want to get caught up too much on COVID, but
host.
So do you guys know who Andrew Wilson is?
Yeah. The Crucible.
I can't.
He's on the whatever cast all the time.
Yeah, I think he is just as bad as these OnlyFans bitches. Honestly. I mean, seriously, he goes up there as this big brained fucking intellectual going against, like, it feels like he doesn't really use his intellectual prowess. He only goes against these like mouth breathing fucking OnlyFans models.
Oh yeah, this dude's a dick.
I mean, sometimes he does. He has debated Destiny and a few others.
Don't defend him.
No, he doesn't just debate OnlyFans chicks. He actually is a pretty good debater against, say, Destiny and a few other people.
I've learned that people that debate very well aren't good people.
Well, Destiny is technically a good debater, but he's also an idiot.
It's not a barometer of a good person. It's like, that's what I mean.
Right.
So Andrew Wilson posted this, and it was just another reason I wanted to just like, I wanted there's a few fathers here on this panel. So I figured it's a good time to ask chat. You're welcome to also chime in if you're a father, and those who don't on the panel have kids, if you think any of these are right or wrong.
Read it.
So I just thought he thinks that he's basically saying that this graphic is saying that fathers are supposed to be pussies. I thought the stuff on the right side, being a strong father, all seemed to be pretty in line. I didn't really have a problem with them, and the weak father side seemed to be.
I have a problem.
Right. I have a problem with a couple of things on the strong
side. It's a mix and match. Yeah. I absolutely did spank. I absolutely did yell, because sometimes if your kid's running into the street, if you don't yell and you're just like, hey, don't do that.
I'm just saying like we're able to use a higher level of our brain than this guy, I think.
Fair.
I think if people only spank as a way of like punishing, it's weak, right? I do think, like you're saying, there's like a sort of mix and matching of these things. But like is there a time to spank? I think so.
Depends on the child.
Drinking
it
alcohol
really does depend on the child.
Right, we can drink alcohol, right? Like that's
is there
fine.
a time to punish?
Yes. So now again, I think this is where I think the discussion needs to lie is like when you look at these and say like, well, only if you spank, you're, like there's no room for nuance like in that in my
I think that's meme, probably, so I think that's a problem.
And that
right.
Well, and that's I think the point of this is to push a specific. I think the point of this meme is to push a specific narrative, right? Like that you can only be one way. There cannot be any nuance. Everything's got to be black and white. You either have to be on one side of this or the other. And if you're not, well, then you're an idiot or you're a pussy and you don't want to make a decision or, like this whole meme is intended to divide and inflame. It's a fucking retarded ass.
What's kind of funny about it? It is like duality of man. It's like sometimes you're one of these sides and sometimes you're the other. And it's a good point. Always going to be, you're never even going to be one thing or the other. It's always going to be some combination.
But it also definitely depends on the child. Like my youngest,
some kids are assholes.
If we yelled or if we disciplined or yelled at our oldest, my youngest would go cry in her room until she went to sleep. You didn't ever have to spank her or do anything. She was so sensitive to it that she got disciplined even if she didn't do anything, because if you did something to her older sister, she would go to sleep, cry herself to sleep. But the oldest, you absolutely had to spank her. You absolutely had to yell at her because nothing else got through. So, I mean, kids are completely different.
Well, not only that, like it's like you're with different ages too. It's like you're going to handle a teenager differently than a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
like,
you stop spanking at like 6 years old, and at that point you're grounding or whatever.
Yeah, like I don't have kids of my own, but I used to coach gymnastics, so I had a wide range of like ages that I was having to deal with. So it's like the teenage athletes, like they're like I wouldn't like if I needed to like get them in line, I would have to handle them very differently than the younger kids.
Right. Different incentives, different things. Yeah.
But also, I didn't really drink when the kids were younger. It was once they were teenagers is when I,
well, that's
started doing the bourbon and stuff.
Well, the drinking thing is just like it's an individual basis. It's like some people can handle alcohol. Like I have alcohol, but like I don't drink that every day.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's moderation.
Well, it's like, yeah, and it's like, what if your wife's taking care of the kids? You know what I mean? And you go, and you're the one cooking and having a few drinks while you cook. Well, your wife's sober; she can handle the kids. Like, what the fuck?
It's like
I don't know.
Some people could.
I didn't drink until the kids became self-sufficient.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, once they can get their own food and wipe their own ass.
Because if I had to get up in the middle of the night or whatever, I didn't want to have a few drinks on me. But after they became self-sufficient, maybe a couple beers on the weekend.
I just drink so sporadically. It's it's not ever thought about. It's not like I have all this booze in my house and I'm like, I'm drinking. It's like if I have a drink, cool.
Yeah.
If not.
I typically have a couple a night, but mostly since I've gotten on YouTube. Before that, I didn't.
And I don't think that's, even if they were kids, I wouldn't say that's excessive. That's just like having a glass or something. I think maybe the meme
bourbon's
means
weird.
Being an aggressive drunk.
Yeah, like
alcoholic. Maybe is that what they mean?
Well, and like if you're drunk all day, that's bad whether you've got kids or not. Like,
yeah,
right. I mean?
Like, that's not good what does general. That meme mean by?
That's what I said. It's I think it's a bullshit fucking meme that's just meant for people to take sides and argue over, and it's fucking garbage. It's bad propaganda.
This is why I think people like him aren't really smart, though. Like I don't know, if you're really an intellectual type, if you're really someone who's like trying to like show people the light, and him being the Christian that he is or whatever that he touts, like sharing shit like this is. So
what was his response? What was the
good Lord, fathers aren't supposed to be pussies? That was his.
You can just hear the Jesus coming out of his tweet.
Well, he is
the love of Christ.
Oh, he is
extremely religious.
Okay. Yeah. Jesus whipped money changers and flipped tables. Okay, like he literally cursed a fig tree for giving him bad fruit. Okay, like it wasn't all.
Jesus
it wasn't all
retweeted.
Yeah, like it wasn't all hugs and kisses. Okay,
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, but still, just the lack of being able to just see this for the bait that it is, and then just taking the bait and
sure how stupid he is.
Just be so confident in being wrong and not even wrong, just unable to just recognize what you're even looking at, being able to process it.
Yeah, he's extremely orthodox. I can't remember which denomination he is, but it's one of the more orthodox denominations. But I
don't get down with orthodoxy.
He's an orthodox Christian who, much like myself, on every stream, he's smoking a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Per stream.
Like, how orthodox are you really?
Yeah, he's the.
Bro.
I don't judge you.
I didn't say I'm orthodox. I said he is.
I didn't mean you.
I know.
Type of Christian
Shags was making a joke. I was pushing back.
He's the type of Christian DC warned us about on their album.
A Jesus freak?
No, the one that was like the Christians that go out and they don't live the life or whatever. They're the biggest cause of atheism. Come on, man, y'all remember this album?
Oh yeah. The people that aren't. Well, and that's the other thing too is if you go out there, it's like I was like my Bible study. I'm like, dude, I'm probably like the biggest sinner out of all of y'all. Like, it's like I pass out on stream and stuff like that. It's like but it's one of those things. Like if you go out there and try to go, well, I'm morally superior to all of the rest of you. Well, fuck you. No,
that's
you're
what
not.
I really hate about it.
We're all sinners. If you actually read the book, it reiterates that over and over and over again, Old Testament and New Testament.
Right?
We're all
Our
sinners.
good
We're
works
all
are
going to
but
fall short of the glory of God. Yeah, and so it's like so that was one of the things that drew me away from religion in the 90s. Like what pushed me away from it was those people that would go, I'm this, that, and the other on Sundays, and then they're scumbags during the week. You know what I mean? And it's like, we're all sinners. We all screw up.
Yeah.
We all fall short of the glory of God. We're all going to fail. That's why we've got a Savior in Jesus Christ, because that's what God knew we were going to screw up right from the beginning. You know what I mean? We were never going to be perfect. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like the crux of the entire religion.
Right. So it's like we're all sinners. That's why we needed a Savior. Stop acting like your shit don't stink, motherfucker. We know you got a girlfriend somewhere.
That's the same problem. I think a lot of people that are like atheists or don't believe in Christianity have problems with Christianity. Is like the people inside of Christianity that act like that act like they're better than everybody else, but they're not.
Well, and I think that's
the biggest cause of atheism in today.
And if you I'll tell you what, right now, if you go into a church, any normal common sense person is gonna be able to recognize the kind of churches that are filled with that kind of people and the kind of churches that are filled with genuine folks. You know what I mean? Because I think my church prior to COVID had to have 3 services on a Sunday because they were filled with so many people. Okay. Post COVID, we've got maybe 40 people if we're lucky at a service on Sunday mornings. Right. But you know what?
Damn.
Guess who the people that are left are? You know what I mean? The true believers.
Metal ones.
You know what I mean? I've got guys with 40 years experience in missionary in my church now. Everybody's a hug. Everybody's family. How's the kids doing? Hey, how's the baby doing that was just born 3 weeks ago? Everybody's asking questions when we showed up tonight. It's like that's a church. You know what I mean? There are churches. One of the things that our pastors have always preached this. There's a difference between a church that is a social club and a church that's actually a church that teaches the gospel. Because a lot of people go to church for the social club aspect of it, not to actually be reminded that you're a sinner and need a savior. And I think that's the big difference. And those are the kind of quote unquote, the Joel Osteens of the fucking world. Okay. Those are the kind of people.
Prosperity.
I want to break in.
Oh,
here.
yeah. Those
I want to tell you, I almost made a missionary joke, but Jesus tapped me on the shoulder and was like, don't do it. It's not the time.
I'll tell you what, that conscience is your Holy
Spirit.
That conscience is your Holy Spirit, man.
I got the same
You got to
tap.
listen to it.
I got the same tap from Jesus. He was like, "Hey, that DC talk joke didn't go over that well. Let's stay out of this one. Wait for the next topic."
Have you guys
next time try Creed?
I got the DC talk joke. All right.
So did I.
Have you guys seen those
far more
reaction videos that are like super bad, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a person and Jesus like pops up over their shoulder and he's like, they're trying not to laugh, dude. They're so good.
It's great.
I wanted to say something real quick on this because True Pop Culture had posed a question online, and a bunch of people had responded to him. It was really cool. They basically gave him
to that.
And I didn't respond to him on there. I've thought about it, but I guess in some ways I was going to just save it for this. Like I think one of the issues, I guess it's the internet all around, has made everyone's opinion the most important thing, and in some ways has just destroyed people's ability to have something for themselves. And I think religion, more than anything, and this is one reason I stay away from religion a lot of times, is because I find it to be a deeply personal thing that I don't feel comfortable sharing with other people. Because if I'm going to have a relationship with Jesus or God, it's not going to be out in the open. And I'm certainly not going to tell someone how that should play out for them, because I think that is something that is, again, deeply personal and unique to the individual. And this could be the progressive, like, Christian in me or Catholic or whatever, but I think that the online world has destroyed it, and people like Melanie Mack have completely ruined that experience for people.
Well,
you know, like
also though, this is a young Christian that got elevated because they said they were Christian. They recently got baptized. They recently went through all that, and then they're getting they're reading the Bible. They're getting all this stuff in, and they feel like they know a whole lot. It's that Dunning-Kruger effect of
exactly.
You get right in and oh my gosh, I'm the most evangelic person ever, and I need to talk to everybody, and I know exactly what they mean in the, and then to have like a little bit of fame on top of that at the same time, then a bunch of Christians, they want to support people becoming Christian, right? So they lift them up, and then Kanye West, they lift them up and they go, yeah, this is the pinnacle of our religion. Thank God that there's, and then, things are misinterpreted, or they don't know everything, or they just fall down. I hate that we do this. I hate that we do this. If
Russell Brand is also
the same
new
thing.
Christian, very loud.
Well, and that's always
let them go through it.
That's one of the biggest. That's a huge problem with a lot of that kind of stuff. But I want to, before I speak to that, I want to speak to something Shag said too, as far as religion being a very personal kind of thing. And honestly, that's kind of the point of Christianity, is you're supposed to have a very personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's the idea, right? But at the exact same time, Christianity also teaches that you're supposed to go out there and spread the gospel.
Discipleship.
And, discipleship. Exactly. But it is. But at the end of the day, the core of Christianity is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And it's not something that anybody, that the whole rest of the world has to agree about how you have that relationship. But you're supposed to, that's the core of it, is to have a core relationship with Jesus, is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And like being grafted into the family and like all of that kind of stuff. But it really is. And I think that's the problem, because like, I have made I started my Bible study on Sundays, like 3 years ago. Right. And it wasn't my idea. It wasn't my choice. I firmly believe the old man upstairs voice jumped in the back of my head because it wouldn't go away. And it was just like, do Romans 1, do Romans 1, do Romans 1. I'm like, what do you mean do Romans 1? It was like, do Romans 1 on your pop culture channel. I'm like, what do you mean do Romans 1 on my pop culture channel? And then he was like, do it on a Sunday. And I'm like, I thought I wasn't supposed to work on Sundays. And so like it ended up being, and the only way that voice ever went away is when I started doing it in January of that year. And it's one of those things, it's like, and that's one of the things like irritates me about like all of the rest of these people that are like trying to jump on this bandwagon. You come to my Bible study and it's like, all I'm doing is reading from the book, and occasionally I'll go off on a tangent, just like I do with my news articles and stuff like that. But for the most part, we're just reading out of the book, and we preface all of this with, it started out as I'm a baby Christian, and now I'm like a toddler Christian. I'm like, I'm just reading the book, trying to understand it, get along with it. I think whether you want to believe or not, there are invaluable lessons inside of the Holy Bible that you can learn, whether you're a Christian or a Jew.
The universal.
Absolutely. Universal truth. That's why it's God's word, because it's universal truths. Right. But that's one of the things. It's like, but you come from a spot of trying to talk down to people and try to like be like the moral hierarchy, the moral superiority of everybody else. And I'm like, because that shit has driven me insane the last few weeks. All this kingdom come deliverance shit, all the fucking Goonergate garbage and everything else. I'm like, What are you arguing over? You are playing right into the devil's hands. The devil's goal is division and chaos. And you are literally people that you used to agree with on almost everything 6 weeks ago or 6 months ago. Now all of a sudden you're fighting back and forth on Twitter over a fucking bikini in a video game or whether there's a fucking gay people in a video game. This is stupid. You're literally playing right into the devil's hands. We still have major corporations to destroy and take down. And you guys are doing this shit, and it just irritates me to no end. Just absolutely irritates me to no end.
And for me,
I have like 8 points, but I don't. They're so far spread over everything that just happened.
Well, you got to take notes. You got to take bullet points.
You got to take a breath, motherfucker.
For me, I mean, for me, I have claimed to be Christian on YouTube the whole time. I am a Christian, and my vices are on display. I mean, I know that they're not good things, but they are the vices that have ensnared me. But I don't hide them, and I don't try to be a hypocrite about them.
Nope, not at all.
I have an interesting thought.
The smoking and the drinking are not good things. But
you guys have watched me pass out on stream plenty of times.
Mad, I want you to make a point here.
Okay.
Because I know you.
Any point?
Any one of the lists that you
one
had
of the
there.
8.
Yeah. So one thing was about when Shags 35 minutes ago was talking about your faith, and it'd rather be personal. It's difficult, especially when you're younger in your faith and you haven't done a lot of deep studying of scripture, right? Either in the academic or the apologetic fields, right? To try to explain your theology in a 240 character tweet or whatever it is now. I guess it can be longer, and then have people be receptive to that. It is not just difficult, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
Unless they are in agreement with you, So whenever you get into those waters of trying to explain your faith, what you believe in what ways, it's very difficult because I can explain to you why. Because I am an ordained minister. I don't know. I guess I should check the expiration date on that. But I
thought you were a dudist.
I'm also a ordained dudist as well.
At the beginning of my Bible studies, I don't have one of them silly ordinations you can get online. I even say that, and Matt's got one. Oh my God, I love that.
I mean, I do. I study theology at Texas State, but it's a whole different thing. So for me, I lean towards universalism when we're talking about versus traditionalism or conditionalism, whether or not you go in heaven and hell and all that shit, right? But for me to get into why I lean toward universalism versus the other, it would be so long and so complicated. I would lose everybody, and people are like, oh, you don't believe in hell, you're not a real Christian. And that's what.
And me and Matt have had these actual talks in person for hours and hours and hours.
I got to come drinking with you guys. So,
the problem, like you were saying on Twitter, you're trying to explain all these very intricate, nuanced things about your beliefs with somebody that is literally only having a conversation with text.
Yeah,
right.
It's not a person. It's not a picture. It's not a voice. It's literally just looking at text that is completely emotionless and arguing with that. They're never going to open up and listen to it because the way that we're communicating, that's what's the fucking problem. We're not having conversations in real life.
I guess that's why I wish I could convince someone like her to do a weekly show, because I would like nothing more than to battle it out with someone like her on stuff, in her not to take it personally. I wish I could find someone who I could be like, stop tweeting that shit, you fuck. That's so stupid. Just something like that,
so a Hannity and Combs situation back in the day.
Yeah. It would just
be a liberal and a conservative, or Christian and an atheist, just being able to have every night we look at the same thing and then we argue our points from each side. That kind of thing.
Because I find that to be healthy, but I know someone like her is not interested in stuff like that. And it's one of the reasons.
But do you know that?
No, I don't. I mean, I've tried. I know. Well, I've actually tried to reach out with her via DM, especially because when I made the video about her whatever she did. I don't even remember what it was about at this point, but I made a video about her and her comments, and I said I'd like to talk to you about this if you'd be willing.
Scantily clad women in video games.
It was probably something like that. Yeah,
that was the most recent thing.
No, it was before. It was a while back. I'm sure it had something
overusing the F slur.
Yes, that's what it was.
Just for
right.
clickbait.
Not even
it was.
Or
like when I got into this room today, guys, I called you the F slur.
Yeah,
what that was deserved.
But it was because we were bros, okay? And I said it once, and you got to know when to drop.
And because Matt might actually be one.
Power.
How dare you?
Yeah, it's up for debate. A
lot of
I personally appreciate it. I personally appreciated the inclusivity of that statement before the stream started, Garrett.
Thank you.
Well, I was a kid of the 90s. We dropped that slur every 5 seconds.
It's different energy.
Am I the only one that wasn't around people that dropped that slur all the time during that time? Yeah.
My word was retarded. I love retarded.
Oh, I still use that one nonstop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're never taking retarded away from me.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard that one, the first time I heard the full F slur all the way out of an old Mexican man, and he was just being a dick, like poking fun at people. He's like, "Oh, what are you, a little?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you?" I'd never heard anybody actually say that word out loud all the way before. I was like, "Holy shit!"
I mean, for me, it's always harder than just saying you're gay.
It got used constantly in the 90s.
Was it Ron? Was I talking to you last week about it? Like I've used that word. So as much as I criticized her about her use of it, like I've used the word. But my issue has always been like the gratuitous nature that
it's the cringe level. The cringe level is very high.
She's gone overboard on it. Yeah, it's clickbait now.
Did you see when
you reminds me of like old school like Halo lobbies? So it's like it reminds me of like you're just being an edgy teenage boy.
Yes, yeah,
edgelord for the sake of edgelording. Yeah,
but like it's the teenage edgelord, so it's like you just seem immature. It's not.
Yes,
not
for a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's like 35 or something.
Yeah. She's
which hey, look, I'm retarded too. Whatever. Who am I saying?
Oh, 100%.
Cringe.
You most definitely are.
If she like used it sparingly and in like proper moments, it would be fine. But if you're just like, but the teenage thing comes as where it's just like you're just using a word all the time because you think that by using that word it makes you sound more adultish or like it makes you sound more mature or something like that. It's like it's just, but in reality, it just shows how.
It's like, multiple times a day.
It seems like it's her first attempt at being a rebel. It's your first rebellion. So you start at an infancy level of rebellion, which is saying words that you're not allowed to say.
Yeah,
which is
what it seems like.
The beast, how dare you?
Right? How dare you?
Oh my goodness.
That's how you get away with it right there, man. You got to use them like them French
characters.
Yeah, the other characters. You get away with it right there. Sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, when I was honestly surprised how many people like stepped up, and Garrett being one of them. I was like, wow, he actually
that was funny.
Said something, and I think she responded to you like, excuse me, sir.
Well, no, so I tweet I can't remember your original tweet, but I was like, yeah, it's pretty cringe. And she just replied with hi. Like I see you kind of. And I just replied with hi. Like, okay. Like it's cringe, okay? Like it's like saying the same joke too many times,
Right.
Calling Comics Division short at this point. It's
4
years old.
It's hack. It's hackney, okay? Move on, do something else.
Mature past it.
Yeah, come up with a new gag. Yeah.
If you can sneak in a very, very smart joke that is actually something different than usual.
Wit.
Sure. But if you're just going with the same old, we're using this word, or we're just calling Comics Division a short.
Oh my God, the cock.
I guess that's why I hate. That's why I hate Seth Rogen so much. It's like because it's always like the weed. Like
yeah. Well, did you see his comment? Did you see his comment from the other day too? He was like,
maybe comedy should be hard.
Yeah, comedy should be hard to make. It's like, no, bitch. You and all your woke acolyte asshole friends made it to where we can't have lowbrow comedy anymore. And the only thing you ever knew how to play was a fucking stoner. Because even in like the one movie I actually liked you in, which was Knocked Up, guess what? You played the same fucking part. You were just a stupid pothead.
Well, comedy is hard, and that's okay, because if it was easy and everyone did it, it wouldn't be comedy, right? It'd just be talking to each other.
Right, but it's become harder now because you're not allowed to say anything. Because somebody's going to get offended.
Yeah, and but there was actually was it Jerry Seinfeld that was talking about? I forget what some comedian was basically
Jerry Seinfeld said, "I won't go to college campuses anymore because I just get booed out of the place because I can't say anything that doesn't offend somebody in the room."
See, yeah, maybe but I think we're starting to see it was someone, because someone had said that we really are seeing a resurgence, especially with like Tony Hinchcliffe and those guys. Like, they've really pushed the envelope
insult
of like
comics.
Yeah, the insult comics again, and how it's truly like those guys have been, not in the conventional way, but they've certainly taken over like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and stuff like that, where like their short form content just slays. And people know him because of it. You guys, but you might not know him. Andrew Santino, like he's another one. He does a lot of stuff with Bobby Lee. I actually knew of Andrew Santino before he was like big. He was doing this YouTube show with a buddy that I knew called Duncan Rocks. It's probably still on YouTube somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. It's actually it's pretty funny. It's just that he plays this awkward like nerdy guy who's like talking about like
is this the redheaded dude that does the podcast with Bobby Lee? Yeah, that guy's really funny.
He's good.
Yeah, and the big one that's risen up on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of the in the shorts has been Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Is that the
Angelina Jolie
white kid with the plastic surgery to make his jaw look manly?
Yeah.
It's constantly hitting on people's moms in the
Matt Rife. Yeah.
Did he actually have that
in shorts?
Are those fake jaws?
Oh,
I think it's his teeth. He's got
like he had his
veneers.
Veneers, for like a couple years to realign them. I don't know if he actually did like jaw surgery.
Because John Mulaney, I have a theory that John Mulaney also did something with his chin to make it more masculine.
I like John Mulaney a lot, though.
I love John Mulaney, but he did something to his chin. He absolutely did. If you look at a picture of John Mulaney like 10 years ago and a picture now, he looks like he has like a weird chiseled jaw, and he's never had that like before. It's weird. It must be a comedian thing. They're really insecure about their jawline.
Olivia Munn made him do it.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to sit on one of those wispy jawlines. I need to sit on a nice
jawline like Aaron Rodgers, or you're done.
You're out of here.
I'd kind of do whatever Olivia Munn asked me to do to my jawline too if she'd sit on my face. So
I wouldn't. She's fucking annoying.
Get out of here, sir. You do not smirch the name of Olivia Munn.
I think they're adorable as a couple.
Not in this house.
We talk adorable as a couple. She's the perfect size to toss around, man. Like, what are you thinking?
Who's this?
Olivia Munn. Attack the show.
From G4 TV.
Oh yeah, she's she's cute as hell, man.
I never said she wasn't attractive. She's annoying. On occasion, I think she's better with John Mulaney. John Mulaney has made her a better lady.
But what makes her annoying? I don't think I've ever associated the word annoying with Olivia Munn.
Oh. She's the most non-annoying out of all those like female hosts back in the day. The one that was like genuine.
Back in the day, yes. But then she did whatever on the Predator movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess I'm not
calling out the guy for being a. I can't remember.
He was
the
a pedophile
story.
though, wasn't he?
It wasn't a pedophile. It was that he had supposedly committed SA, and then, she was like, "Well, I can't believe you would have him on set with me." And it's like, okay, well, whatever.
Did he?
He plays a very.
Was it a false alarm?
I don't know, because half of those situations you don't know the truth of it because it was in the Me Too era. So, but she immediately went into trying to get some guy fired from the movie.
Sounds about right.
Boom. Thank you, Brahma.
But that's okay because we can fix her. everybody knows that women like that just need a good, strong. You see, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Every woman just needs all these crazy women out there. Like that's all they need is a good, strong man in their life to straighten them out. Sometimes you got to slap them on the ass a little bit, throw them on the bed, show them what a man actually is, and it straightens most of them out, man. It really does.
All right.
Really does.
I'm gonna screen share you this here. Now look at this.
We're going back to the beam of what a dad is.
Now look at this. You see this? Look at this guy. And then look at this motherfucker. These ain't the same people.
Maybe he was chewing on that thing. You ever see that thing you're supposed to chew on?
Yeah,
It makes your jaw strong.
He got older. You're showing one picture from when he was 18.
This is not look.
I don't know. That looks the same.
Very recent. This is very recent.
He had a jawline, and I mean, it got wider.
His chin is wider. It looks
what the fuck is this?
Yeah, his chin is wider.
Age.
These motherfuckers aren't the same.
I mean, I'd go with his nose got less bulbous.
So you got
more than the chin.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I mean,
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that's.
He looks heavier there, though.
That is
I don't think that's even him.
That's an angle of a picture. I'm telling you right now, it's all about the angles of the pictures. We got to see
it's not real.
Reaches as Zac Efron. That's
maybe he's on Ozempic and got Ozempic face.
Yep.
I mean,
everybody else is. Why not?
I mean, good for him though. It looks good.
I like him a lot. I'm glad that he's clean now. Finally, after saying he was clean for years.
what was his? What was it? Cocaine or Adderall or something?
Oh yeah, Coke man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cocaine.
Well, I mean,
setup.
Coke did make the best comedy.
It made the best decade.
All of the 80s and 90s. I mean,
hey, we'd much rather have Hollywood on Coke than woke, right?
It's like I mean, drug.
If we could
hey,
bring
Shaq,
back
did you look
anyone-
at that other link that I shared with you earlier?
Oh, let's see. The YouTube.
We are not advocating for the usage of illicit substances that are illegal.
Or necromancer. We're not.
Trailer.
I'm kind of supporting necromancy. Depends on who we're necromancing.
Yeah. Did anybody else see the Megan 2 trailer teaser?
Yeah, where she's dancing around all silhouetted and weird.
Like,
no, Jesse, throw that on. It's in the private chat.
Like the little kid doll is supposed to be sexy.
What?
Which one?
Well, it's a robot, but it is kind of creepy. It is creepy.
It's supposed to be a friend to little kids.
What the fuck?
I don't agree with their choice in marketing for this.
Well, I mean, that's true. Chucky was supposed to be as well. He was Mr.
Yeah, he was
the
sexy as fuck.
Chucky wasn't gyrating his hips.
I want to see what's going on. Let's watch it.
All right, let's check this out.
Yeah, but his wife was.
I want to see what Brahma's yelling at.
All right, let's see what Brahma's yelling at.
What he's about to have
because the context is important.
Make it fast.
The context of this is in the original Megan movie. The biggest meme that came out of that was her little shuffle dance that she did. It became a huge little meme thing that everybody ran with. So they took that and they're making it the centerpiece for their marketing for the sequel to it.
I don't like dance. I'm just gonna go out there and say it.
Oh, I hate dance.
It's cringe. Dancing is
Who
cringe.
are you trying to impress?
Fucking little phenomenon that I'm completely detached from and don't understand. Because I know there was another movie.
Yeah, Megan.
But is this supposed to be like a bit? Or
something? It's
it's
exactly what I just said. It was a meme thing that came out of the original Megan movie, and they're making it the center focus for their new advertisement for the sequel.
It feels like
it's supposed to be a kid's companion doll, AI doll that's like 10 or 12 years old, and they've got it doing this in the marketing. I
didn't find this sexy at all.
It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's marketing's targeted at kids by any means.
It's not.
I don't know who it's targeted to.
No, the problem is it's targeted at adults, and it's a kid doll.
No.
Right, like
but it's an adult movie, though.
Yeah,
I understand
this
that.
Isn't a PG movie, right?
I get that. Yeah. I'm saying, why would you make a 10 to 12-year-old doll dancing in silhouette and be like, the young baby doll or young kid doll is supposed to be sexy?
I didn't think that was a sexy dance at all. I don't know if you.
I thought it was.
I think the silhouette is supposed to be presenting a woman's body, not a little kid's body.
Yes, it's mysterious.
And then they reveal that it's a little kid doll.
It is.
I just don't know what this movie.
I find it
I have no
weird.
clue.
I think it's just catering to like that the Gen Z adults that have grown up watching TikTok. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's very TikTok-esque.
Am I the only one that saw the first movie?
You
I
guys,
saw the first
I-
movie.
I never saw it.
I missed it. I knew it existed, but it was.
Actually, wasn't
I
that
thought
bad.
it was like an Annabelle movie or one of those
Kinda.
Conjurings or something. I don't like any of those trash movies.
Bird.
I just
Well, The
I watch
Conjuring
a lot of
wasn't
movies
trash.
What the
but
fuck?
anyways.
Right.
James Wan is good.
Yeah,
It
overrated.
was actually a pretty good first movie.
I could shoot movies with gray in it constantly. It's the only thing I do. What's that around the? Oh, it's a jump scare. Oh,
Some people just don't appreciate horror. Some people just don't appreciate horror.
I don't know.
I'm not a horror
I didn't
fan.
Chad
at all.
agrees with
I
me.
said I don't like that.
Oh, we can go over this too since we didn't meet last week. The so the Fantastic Four trailer came out.
Oh,
Well, so with that one, I like the aesthetic of the trailer. I really do.
Right.
I like that time period, and I like how it all fit together.
Mhm.
And I think it's another one of those. It helps separate it from everything else, even though they're tying it to,
They will. Yeah.
Help themselves.
But
and an alternate world dimension.
and I honestly,
whatever.
in the CGI with the thing, I don't know that didn't
It didn't bother me the
way
first time
it
I think
did.
it looked
watched it
great. I
until
thought the
people-
CGI looked great. I think the
Yeah.
pacing of that joke in the commercial was weird. And
Mhm.
it made it kind of, it was like low energy right at the beginning of the trailer, and you were like, "Where are we going with this?" I know it was like a chef, that the TV show that
Yes.
he's on. So I guess a lot of people that would know him from that, see him doing like a little chef thing. I guess they got the joke maybe, but it just felt weird to have that like.
Yeah, it did feel really weird to me.
I think that's
And
the
my-
problem people were picking up on, and they were just calling it a CGI issue when the CGI looked phenomenal. It looked really great. It was high fidelity. It looked awesome. It
Yeah,
was
of
the
course it
pacing
was
and the
weird.
timing that was weird.
I agree.
All the comic book nerds I know are happy that he has the weird eyebrow. I mean, that
Yeah.
normies don't like, because
I
it does look
noticed.
like crap CGI to a normie, but it looks like the actual comic book version. Most of the people have the problem with the voice being high and not gravelly in any way.
Right. Am I the only one that watched that trailer and came off and felt like it was a Sue-centric trailer by the end?
No.
I don't know, because
I mean, she
felt
gives
like
the speech and it comes off as a little girl power. But
Well,
that's
my
kind
bigger
of-
problem is that her
She's hot.
skin tight outfit
Yeah.
is not skin tight on her, because Vanessa Kirby should not be hidden.
No, that's true. We watched the little, like, because remember they were like, hey, we're going to release the trailer at X time, and then, oh, by the way, we've got an hour of bullshit before we're actually going to drop the trailer. Well, I got to because somebody had said Vanessa Kirby sounded like her voice was deeper than the things, and I was like, well, I got to go watch this trailer, and then I got to watch Vanessa Kirby in that dress, and I'm just like, oh, we're just going to keep watching this for a little bit because damn.
No,
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
Vanessa Kirby in an actual skin tight, comic book outfit, and
Accurate.
that's not what we got here.
If you guys want to talk about a trailer that just knocked me off my feet, how about
Here comes
G20?
the most random
No,
shit.
we're trying
ever.
to talk about the Fantastic Four trailer is what we're trying to talk about.
Oh, y'all haven't seen G20 trailer?
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god!
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
they really thought Kamala was going to be
Oh,
president.
shit.
Dude,
Dude, okay.
They totally did.
So,
They totally
Funny
did.
shit. I saw the poster for that yesterday. That's all I knew about the movie was the poster. And I was looking at this and I was like, okay, so she's either going to be the president or she's going to be the bodyguard. If she's the president, this is dumb as shit, because why does she have guns in her hands on this poster? If she's the president, she should be surrounded by so many bodyguards out there. There's no way she should ever have a chance to pick up a gun. And if she does have a chance to pick up a gun, that means all of the rest of Secret Service is dead.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the people
That's
that
the
killed
premise.
all of the Secret Service didn't kill her. What? How did she survive if all the Secret Service are
Black
dead?
girl magic.
Exactly.
Black
Oh my
girl
Maybe
god.
there's something they know about the
Eating,
Secret
hiding,
Service
nothing.
that you don't, because we watched
Boom.
this summer happen.
They're all
right.
white.
Okay, but I'm talking about how they're actually supposed to operate, right? And if you're going to do it in a fictional universe, like, oh well, her white Secret Service agents betrayed her, and like, Okay, well, thank you for even more DEI bullshit.
Okay, well, all right. I can't believe I'm gonna have to defend it, kinda.
You're gonna defend this? Oh, fucking shit!
No, but
man.
listen, we have had things. Hold on, we have had things called, I don't know, Air Force One, Olympus Fallen again, but this time in Europe, whatever that one was called. It's fallen again. I can't believe it keeps falling. The third one.
Yeah, but like Air Force One, like the only thing he really did was get off my plane and like punch
is that all he did?
But it wasn't like,
White House Down. There's been multiple movies where presidents end up with guns.
Yeah, but like,
but Gerard Butler ends up doing the work.
There's plenty to criticize without like it's so unrealistic that the president would have a gun at any point.
Yeah, but are we supposed to expect a 60-year-old lady to be able to do?
That's a different criticism. That's a different criticism than the president having a gun.
That's got a point.
That's a different criticism than the president having a gun.
No. If they were able to get through all of the Secret Service, she'd be dead. Like there's no doubt about that.
Unless you're watching a movie with Gerard Butler.
I haven't.
If we're going through trailers, though, I did love that the new Mission Impossible is not Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning 2, The Final Reckoning. It's just Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning. They apparently decided to drop the parts from the movies now. And
because they got roasted by...
Yeah, because you had a 20 freaking word title for part 1. And now they're like, no, it's just Mission Impossible Final Reckoning.
Ethan, you have to unplug it for 5 seconds and then wait and then plug it back in. You got to reset the router or this AI's taking over. That's all it is a boomer trying to, on the phone with tech support, trying to unplug his router on a Russian sub. That's the whole plot of the movie.
Did you see that Tom Cruise stopped taking his adrenochrome, though? That dude aged about 30 years since the last one. Like,
it's like Peyton Manning in his second season in Denver.
What's that?
Peyton Manning his second season in Denver when like he just no longer could throw the ball more than 10 yards.
And he won the Super Bowl.
Did he, or was it Von Miller?
He was the quarterback. Von Miller was the linebacker.
And also the MVP.
Uh-huh.
Good job. So he protected his quarterback so he could throw passes.
That's not what a linebacker does, Jesse.
Wait a minute.
I don't fucking know anything about football.
Peyton did just good enough to win that Super Bowl.
Hold on. The Wheel of Time has already gone through 2 seasons.
Yes, it's on the third season. It's on the third season. Yeah, and it's going to keep going. That's how we know Rings of Power is going to get all 5 seasons. That's how we know Rings of Power is going to get all 5 seasons.
Oh my God.
Wheel of Time season 2 was just as bad as the first. And Rafe Judkins basically saying, if you don't like what I'm doing, I'm just going to turn more characters gay, is exactly why these people should not be allowed to adapt anything in sci-fi or fantasy.
Like I just started reading the books and it was like, tried to watch the first episode of Wheel Time. I was like, I can't get through this. This is
Wheel of
me
Time.
And Lady Gravemaster have gone back and I mean, we've talked about this during all the seasons. It's like, no, this is not okay. They have destroyed every semblance of this being an adaptation.
Yeah, fucking AMC did that shit with the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles. Like it wasn't her body, Anne Rice's body, because she found.
Don't bring Anne Rice into this. We're talking Wheel of Time.
I will.
Shut up, bitch.
I will, because Anne Rice found her Catholicism later in her life again. She got back to her faith, and dude,
I think that the Wheel of Time, though,
her body wasn't cold 15 minutes before that gay son of hers fucking sold that shit to AMC and went from a fucking bromance between Lestat and fucking Lewis to nothing more than a straight homosexual fucking romp. And holy God, did it irritate me. So I understand how my Wheel of Time
show
friends.
Called? Where
My whole point.
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire on AMC. My whole point was I relate to all my Wheel of Time friends. Trust me, I've seen it happen to my stuff too. So I love you guys. I feel you. I feel your pain.
I just watched. I remember season 1. I watched. I think
just like Lestat, he feels you.
The first, I think I watched the first 9 episodes, and then the 10th episode, I was like, I refuse to finish this because it totally bastardized everything. Like the book, like that book was almost like by definition is like woke. Like it's all powerful females like in that book, and somehow they fucked that up.
Mhm.
That's what I'd heard too.
Like the Aes
Okay.
Sedai are like women, like powerful women, and I don't know, the
Like,
show just made a mockery of it.
For hundreds of years, only women were capable of doing magic.
Yeah.
And they if a man started doing magic, they would kill him because usually like his powers would go out of control and he would cause damage.
Mm-hmm.
And women.
So
are
the
bitches.
women would so there was just like this women-based society that they had this like political power and magical power, and it's like, this is like, how do you take this world and fuck it up when like this, like, it's literally you could have just like taken this and ran with it, and it would have been like, hey, we can do a woke thing and make it be good. But it's like,
once again, you had an outline to do the whole thing. They're called the books, and you couldn't come even close to it. No. And Rafe Judkins was like, well, I mean, we can't faithfully adapt the books because there's just not enough time. There's too much detail in it. And then he threw his freaking boyfriend into 2 episodes and a fake character that isn't in the books, and made 2 full episodes out of his boyfriend in real life being a character that doesn't exist in the books. It's like, so you can't adapt what's in the books because there's too much, but you can create 2 new episodes out of a character that doesn't exist, where he basically ends up just, offing himself, or I can't remember exactly what happened to him, but it's like,
part of the 40%.
We need to take, out of the 8 to 10 episodes, you need to take 2 episodes to get your boyfriend into the show. Okay.
I mean, why?
What the hell?
Well, what's the point of being gay if you can't be put in at least 2 episodes?
where everyone should have stopped with that show. That anyone who read the books should have stopped when
episode
they introduced 1. Well, yeah, or the second one, I think, when the Trollocs came into it, and it was like, what is this fucking Spirit Halloween costume they have on all these fucking people? Like, it looked like in the book, it was terrifying. Like,
it wasn't just that; it was Perrin having a wife that he kills accidentally. Yeah, that completely alters the character for all of the books.
100%.
Because the characters are supposed to be like 15, 16 years old.
Yep.
Not 18, 19, 20, and having a whole bunch of sexual relationships already. I mean, they basically just aged it up to where they could get everybody to be banging each other.
Yeah.
Well,
and doesn't work because that's not what the book series was written about.
So they wanted Game of Thrones, but with Wheel of Time. Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, and it did
same thing that they wanted with Rings of Power.
Yeah.
They wanted a Game of Thrones fantasy series on Amazon that could compete with Game of Thrones. Sorry, Reagan, go ahead.
Well, and like the main protagonist is supposed to be Rand. I watched that first episode and I was like, it's not focused on him at all whatsoever. Or it's like, or they could have at least gone the route where they focused on the 3 guys and then just kept it that mystery where, because it doesn't get revealed until like the end of the book that he's supposed to be the main guy or the main character.
The Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just feels like a girl power.
But in the TV show, they make it seem like any of the kids from there could be that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they absolutely could not, because the whole thing was about a guy being reborn as the dragon. But you were trying to make it the girls could also be, because the girls don't have the taint.
Right.
I'm sorry?
Drives them mad.
If anything, it felt like, what's her name?
Can we get back to the taint
like
driving
one girl
men
was
mad?
like the main character. Can't remember who it was. Like Eugene
it was
something. I think was like felt like they were pushing her to be like the main character.
Rosamund Pike is the one that they're pushing, and that's Moraine, and she's spoilers. By the 2nd or 3rd book, she's dead.
Yeah, she's not around long. Well, I mean, a lot of these characters in the first one are gone by like what, book 5 and 6?
No, all of these characters are alive except for Moraine.
I thought, well, okay.
Rand, Perrin, Matt,
died.
Egwene, and Nynaeve are in it from book 1 till the end.
Okay.
Lan is there. Moraine gets killed by Forsaken in book 2 or 3.
I think,
and then comes back in book 12.
Yeah, I definitely haven't made it to 12.
But Rosamund Pike is who they have as the main character. That's a dead character in book 2 or 3.
It like you were saying, and we've said, they have a perfect outline for something, but they're also taking the wrong angle on it. Like, I mean, they're the Aes Sedai are powerful women. Like, it's written in there. There's no reason to put down men or recenter a character, for an agenda. Like, tell a great story. It's already
a matriarchy. You didn't have to make it more so.
Exactly. Riken, did you say something?
No. I was,
okay.
You said it's book 5?
It's book 5, yeah. Because that was like the last one that I read.
I remember that. I've read them all so many times that they all are just one big blob at this point. Because that's my favorite series of all time.
Yeah.
Dune, I have read them all over and over and over.
I had to take a break because I generally just do audiobooks because like I'll just like pop in an earbud at work and just listen to the books. And so sometimes it's just like I need a break from listening to all that. So like I've planning on continuing that series.
Those are like 30-hour audiobooks, aren't they? They're very long.
They're 14.
They're like 40 or 50 hour.
Yeah.
No, babe. I didn't take out the trash because of my taint. My taint. It's why. It's not my fault.
Drives him crazy.
Matt's still stuck on that word.
Yeah.
The male power of the channeling in the books and the show
comes from the taint.
Tainted by the basically Satan in the books, Shaitan. So
wait,
every man who channels the power goes mad because of the taint.
Yeah, I got you. It makes sense. God made the penis and balls, and the devil made the taint.
Ponder, if you will, the taint.
Yeah, you go from that 1-inch space between the vagina and the asshole, the taint. You're in trouble.
I'm sorry? What? Wait, women don't have taint. Babe, you got a taint?
Okay.
On that note, corrupted the men are.
On that note,
we cue the music.
A man thing.
No, I think it's a beautiful place to stop. Right on the taint.
Right on the taint.
We brought it right down. But no, great episode, great back.
Is Tim Pool the taint of politics? He's like in the middle. He won't.
Fence setting.
He's the newest Rumble Golden Boy. So
yeah, Rumble. Let's go, Rumble. Rumble is totally not bullshit.
Here's my final thoughts. Here's some updated thoughts real quick before we go. I've been following the Rumble Creator Program stuff. Riken, you've heard me talk about this stuff. You're involved with that conversation. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt on stuff. They seem to be working on things that will be beneficial to people. I don't know if it'll work.
Right.
The Rumble Studio. I was going to do this show on Rumble Studio tonight, but there's too much wrong with it. It's just not ready to be used in that way.
But that's how they want to do the new creator program is only if
you can use ingresses or RTMP to stream through it, like with OBS. So there are workarounds. Using it standalone is silly. Like you're better off having the watermark on StreamYard and using this.
It's very good for a very basic free backstage.
How about instead of spending millions of dollars for these creators to be on your platform that don't give a shit about your platform, why don't you invest in your platform and making that shit actually work for a creator? Because creators have to go through so many fucking hoops for this trash fucking website when you're spending so much money to have Dr. Disrespect or fucking
who still streams on YouTube primarily, but does I mean, the issue that they have with something like Dr. Disrespect is you didn't pull him away from YouTube. You just got him to do an exclusive hour over on Rumble. That's not being exclusive to Rumble.
And I get it. It's like you're trying to siphon off viewers from YouTube. There's going to be some trade over portion.
If you're
right?
paying them that much, they should be Rumble exclusive.
Yeah, but if the person that goes from the great experience, and legit, YouTube is a great experience. It's very easy to use, intuitive, and all that stuff. It's a great user experience to Rumble, which is not.
Well, this is what I
not. The analytics don't tell you crap on Rumble.
Well, the analytics are fake. They're all bullshit.
Yeah, the unique views versus raw views stuff. Nobody can make sense of it.
Real quick, what I'll say is I think their updates that they're doing right now, focusing with the Rumble Studio stuff, I think could be the changes that people want to see. Their website's still in its infancy compared to things like StreamYard and YouTube and everything, right?
Because
I'm not sitting here like standing for this company. I'm just saying the reality is that those changes you're talking about, Garrett, I think they're coming. They're not going to come as quickly as people want, I don't think, but
I would just like analytics that actually tell me how many people are actually watching, because when it says I have 1,500 viewers and I've got the same 5 to 10 chatters, I don't believe crap from them.
Right.
It wouldn't show you, because then everyone would know it's fake and it's a facade. Where are they getting this money? Where's the money coming from to pay these massive?
Well, I've said
they got it from Tether. They got $775 million from that crypto company.
Right. Well, that's why they push crypto so much.
Well, they're starting to now.
Well, and the thing, I keep like losing my thought.
Sorry, we've interrupted you multiple times.
No. Shit.
They are making changes. It will come.
It's very slow, and it's a very painful process, because it's somebody who just does Rumble. It's like there's all these people that are telling them, hey, you need to change this, this, and this, and then it's like they don't do anything, and then all of a sudden they make a big announcement, and then you get like this huge dump of people like just complaining about these things when they get like take this big step, and then they're like, oh, we didn't know that we needed to change this thing, and then they make the changes, and then then again it's just like you go all these months without anything happening, and people are like complaining, and then another event happens where it's like they finally listen, and it's like, okay, we'll make this change, and it's just like it's pulling teeth with Rumble, and I want them to do better.
I remember what I was going to say. So we were talking about this Rumble Creator Program, and people are like, oh, Rumble's so great because like they allow you to stream, and like the barrier to entry is so low, and like you don't need a bunch of subs, and anyone can get into this program as long as you just, like, 30 hours of streaming on here is nothing. And like, and I had to, I forget who I was talking to. I think it was Lumpy. I was saying to Lumpy Potato that like, there's no way that they're making money right now. And he confirmed they had a losing quarter last quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, and everyone, there was probably 40 people in that X talk. I said, you all have to realize that the requirements for monetization are going to become just like YouTube eventually. They can't let every fucking idiot onto their platform to start streaming, because what people are doing, and they didn't answer my question I had the other day about it. I don't know how they're going to police the creator program when it comes, or monitor it rather, for people who are just on there like streaming fucking like Disney movies or like a blank screen. Like people are going to try and find ways around it. They're not. It's not a sustaining model at this point. They need to figure out how to weed that out. And YouTube does it by having verified watch hours, 1,000 or 500 now to get like your basic monetization.
Yeah.
But you need 1,000, 500 or 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And people think that's crazy. It's not really when you're like.
Actually,
people
4,000 watch hours aren't that bad.
Watch hours aren't that hard once you get the subs, because when you have subs that are actually watching and not just subbing to you because you're on somebody else's channel and they never actually watch you, that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, if they're actually paying attention to what you're putting out, the watch hours
Yeah, if you get your watch hours before you get your subscribers, which is what I did on my last channel, because I had a couple of videos that went like stupid viral, like it becomes a lot easier to do all that kind of stuff. My biggest issues with Rumble is just because of some of the glitches. But and I get everybody has a lot of complaints about Rumble, and the interface sucks and yada yada yada. And I always point back to the fact that like this is YouTube in its infancy. This is YouTube essentially like the couple of days it got bought by after it got bought by Google, and like everything they're trying to fix. Like a lot of people don't remember what like YouTube was like back when 2005, 2006 timeframe when all of this stuff started out. You know what I mean? It's not this it wasn't this beautiful interface like everybody's got now. I mean, that's taken them 25 years, 20 years at this point to get it to where it is now. And it's like Rumble just really started hardcore going after improving things and making major upgrades in the last couple of years. And for all the bullshit we can get about Rumble's analytics and, how the watch views and stuff don't matter, I always tell everybody I've always gauged my views by how many people smash the like button. You know what I mean? Because even YouTube's views are like, well, you had 48 views. Okay, well, how many of those views were people leaving and coming back? You know what I mean? Like that's still not an accurate gauge of how many individual people watched my show. I measure it by how many people watched to hit my like button. But at the end of the day,
we get watch hours. Rumble, we get is views. We don't get any hours.
It's changed now. We have hours.
Yeah, we've got watch hours.
Did they finally add it in?
Yeah. In the new analytics, they have
the new dashboard has it.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it comes down to is Rumble was my fallout shelter. And you know what I mean? Like when everything went sideways with my last channel, everything else, I had told everybody from a long time ago, I know Rumble ain't the best thing out there in the world, but you need to be there because you know what? YouTube will nuke you and ban you for whatever reason they want, whenever they feel like it. And you will have, if you're a smaller creator, you have no recourse whatsoever. You can't get enough traction on Twitter. You can't get enough traction with big YouTube channels to try to get your stuff back. Everything you've done has been gone and is lost. Guess what? Everything that I've been doing on my YouTube career for the past almost 4 years now is all backed up on Rumble, and I've never had an issue with any of that kind of stuff. So I get it. The interface sucks sometimes, and it's shitty because you don't get the right analytics that you get off of Google, with Google having access to all of everything that Google has access to. But at the end of the day, it gives us somewhere to go
it's somewhere you can hold all of your stuff and share links to other people. It's a Google Drive.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is though, like
we can say,
yes, I hear that, but like the issue is like, yeah, they're 20 years behind or whatever. But like, if you're trying to sell people on a product, and I said this in my X space, and all the Rumble people were listening. If you're trying to sell people on a product that is competing with Restream and StreamYard and EVMux, they need to be just as good or damn near close. In Rumble, it's jarring how bad it is. It almost upsets me, like how poorly executed it is. And like King said in the chat, you need to divert a team, hire a team. Fuck paying all these other people. You have a back end that doesn't function.
YouTube doesn't even have their own platform where you can stream with multiple people.
This is why they're different, though, Jesse.
This is the app to plug into it.
This is why it's necessary for them to do it. They need something.
And I use it every week, and I've been using it for 6 months and never have any problems on my stream with panels and stuff like that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Look, they need to take that tether money. They need to portion out a section of it, and they just need to go and literally seek out the best programmers and stuff, and the best graphic designers and stuff, and people who understand how to make things look good and presentable. And they need to just go and they need to just pay them so much money that they're willing to quit whatever job that they're doing elsewhere and just focus on building Rumble and making it the best platform.
And you know what the
have
problem
the money right now, so they need to do that.
But you know what the problem the problem they face with that is getting people to work for them. Right? Because I literally had a comment on one of my videos the other day, because I always have my little, hey, I'm live on Rumble 11 a.m. to whatever. Right? One of the first comments I got on my video is, well, I saw the Rumble tag. He must be a racist.
Yeah.
Right?
But
so
it's,
they can spend all the money in the world they want. They're not always going to get the best and the brightest and the best coders and stuff like that. They're going to get who the people that are willing to work for them.
yeah,
That
but
is not the problem with Rumble. The problem with Rumble is it's a live stream. It's a live stream platform.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Who goes to search Rumble for how do I change the tail lamp on my 2020 Gladiator? That's what YouTube has for it. Everybody still goes to YouTube because you can go find out how to do freaking anything on YouTube.
Second biggest search.
You go to Rumble for a live stream. Yeah. That's all it's good for. At this point, they have no search function that actually works. I can't search how to change a tail lamp on my 2020 Jeep Gladiator unless somebody's doing a live stream on it right then and has that as the name of the stream.
Well, and you can see that because those are the people that they're getting over on the platform and spending $25 million on. Streamers. There's people
trying to build the gaming streams and the live streams.
The talk streams and the gaming streams. It's not a video platform.
No, it's not.
It's more of a Twitch alternative. I don't know why they tried to paint themselves as a YouTube alternative. It's a Twitch alternative.
Which
just like Odyssey was more of a video alternative.
Yes.
Rumble is a live stream alternative. Yeah, there is no video search on Rumble. And until they get videos that are green.
I loved Odyssey, but Odyssey didn't get the traction.
Odyssey does a lot of radio shows as well. Like,
well, that's because they were built off of library.
Well, even like 105.3, The Star and the DFW. They stream on Odyssey every morning or all day actually.
That's pretty dope.
Right, but that's where
podcasts that are specific for it as well.
That's where YouTube has both of them beat. YouTube is video and live stream. You can search something and you can also watch live streams. The other two, every other alternative has not gotten into where a video can be searched on Rumble to find something that you're looking for. Odyssey you can, but the live streaming is horrible. I mean, they have specialized to their detriment.
Yep. Rumble needs more cat videos. Speaking of cat videos, what's up, Grant?
Just meow for outros.
Yeah, we're about.
Are we ready to do outros?
Yeah, remember when we were going to end on Taint?
Yeah,
like 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago, yeah.
Well, that's usually where I end.
No, you go further.
Well, yeah, here everything after that's pretty shit.
Can we go out on this? I had a question for lesbians out there, and there's somebody that works on the show at Normal World is lesbian, so I had to ask her the question. And my question is, what is in the lesbian world? What is sex and what is not sex? What is between bases 3 and home?
Smushing
a lot of sliding.
And her answer was
Doc Martens.
It depends. She had no answer. There's no answer.
It depends on the relationship, whether or not they like to use dildos or just
There's no answer.
So the definition in the straight world is third base is fingering, right?
Right.
Fourth base is intercourse.
Oh, I thought second base was fingering and third base would be fellatio.
Second base is tits.
What? Just in general?
First base kissing, second base tit
under the shirt.
Third base fingering, and fourth base or home plate is
no. I thought second base was anything under the clothes, so that would include the finger.
Also, heavy petting would be included in that.
Well, you guys grew up in the American League. I grew up in the National League, I guess.
I think the other way around. I think. Yeah, no. If we're thinking third base is fellatio, I think you might be. I think you might be in the lower
like you grew up in the XFL while we're all playing in the NFL.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
No, because
that or I'm Gen X and you guys are stupid millennial crap.
Stupid millennials. Listen to the generation that didn't do shit and let everything get this bad, and let the fucking boomers take over everything. Ooh, it's all the millennials are so bad.
Gen X is the smallest generation and just elected.
I'm going to tell you what third base is. I don't give a shit. I'll talk
all
right to it.
All right, I'm putting a stop to this. Everyone, we're not doing outros tonight. You know all these wonderful people. Check out the
we don't play baseball. Right? We don't have
another
Matt's got a brand new channel. You have to at least let him promote that.
Subscribers, but no outros.
Down. Yes. I want Mad. and Riken.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Riken, go first. I don't know you.
So I'm just streaming on Rumble at the moment, gaming and stuff, hoping that it gets better. We'll see. But I've been playing a lot of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's about it.
There you
go. Nice.
Cool. My channel every Tuesday at 9:15 Central, we talk about somebody from history. We've done Hugh Glass, never had a son. That was bullshit in the movie, even though the movie was great. We did a dude who had an assistant jerk off a dolphin, but he was trying to teach it English so we could talk to aliens. We had the real Crocodile Dundee, and we just did Count Dante, who was, you know, a great martial artist guy in Chicago. And
I cannot believe you did Dante without me. How dare you?
You had the link.
Yeah. Does he?
I don't know.
Well, this coming Tuesday, we're going to be talking about, I think his name's Brinkley, whoever it was that was putting goat nads into human nad sacks.
Christy Brinkley?
No,
big balls. They called him.
Yeah, they called him big. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so perfect because of balls. But anyway, yeah. So check that out.
I know Jesse really wants to say his piece. So Jesse, go for it. Or you're over there.
Just come hang out with me at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I got Sunken Maiden and her big old boobies to go and hang out with me tomorrow night. Watch Cyberpunk 27/7. Talk about something good to watch. You know, we're not always roasting the bad stuff. $5 Fridays. I got a baby that's 3 weeks old. Come find me and give me money so I can buy diapers. I love you.
By the way,
guys.
Chad, I'm looking at my channel. I'm not seeing these numbers go up.
Right? I feel that.
It's been a lovely evening, Garrett. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
It's awesome to have you. Brahma, as always, thank you for being here. Mad and Riken, I appreciate you guys joining the panel tonight. And Mr. Grant Gregory, I'm sorry that you didn't get to be here all night, but it's always nice to see you, sir.
And you too.
Thank you, sir. And chat.
No one gave you a compliment, though. So it'd be nice.
Yeah, fuck him anyway.
Thank you, chat. We are out of here until next Wednesday. You guys stay lovely, stay stay something, and goodbye.
Stay fabulous.
Garrett, how much do you charge to come on to the channels? Garrett?
Stay tainted.
Stay tainted.
I like to put stuff online.